Due to the following CBS School Break special, Magnum PI will not be seen today. It will be broadcast tomorrow in the regular time period.
Word Balloon is brought to you by the League of Word Balloon Listeners.
That's, me kind of doing a very light take on the version of Batman I was raised by, which is sort of post Neil Adams take, which he was doing the year I was born. Neil Adams was redefining the character kind of in the cracks and corners of DC when he was first a cover artist on a lot of the Batman books in the late 60s, and then once they gave him sort of the run of the place, his look, he kind of exaggerated even more with the lighting and the grandeur, the way he would exaggerate the figure form, the length of the ears, the length of the cape. A lot of it was just sort of aesthetics. He wasn't really changing the costume per se. I tried to illustrate what Adams did with a sense of maybe somewhat photo exacting kind of take on it, while also kind of avoiding some of the comic book tropes of the glowing white eyes, which I was always having a problem with as a kid, thinking about like how the mask is pretty much on his face like it's makeup. Like it's as close to the skin as you can get the way it was drawn by everybody, Adams included. And if that's the case, there's no room to hide the eyelashes for the human being wearing this mask, so basically just his natural eyes showing, but you can hide that in shadow.
How we doing, everybody? Welcome back. It's time for a new Trek Watch. It's been a while. It's been a minute, as they say. But we're going to talk about the first 3 episodes of Lower Decks for season 4, and we'll also talk about the very short Treks that, ironically, are very short in humor, in my opinion. Now, let's leave it at that until we get into the full discussion. But the whole crew is back from their away missions. Wayne is here. Mitch is here. Francis is here. And it's good to see everybody. Let's do it. Like, stop doing that. It's not funny.
I wait.
Your crap down. Mitch, I will turn off your microphone. I'll remove you. You gotta stop. It's not funny, Mitch. It is really annoying for people listening, and I would please ask you not to do that. Thank you. All right, so let's start with Lower Decks. I was on last week with my buddy Ed Whitfield. And I talked about the first 2 because they dropped the first 2 last week on right before Star Trek Day, I want to say, last Friday. I want to talk about Star Trek Day as well. But we can start with Tuvix, the first new Lower Decks, which I'll even say I actually liked. I thought it was very funny. I thought it hit what they were trying to do. And I thought it was, good concept, reasonable humor. Crap like this was funny. I liked it. And I liked seeing Voyager. And I loved what they did with Voyager. Pretty neat. Thoughts on Tuvix, everybody? Jump
I
ball?
thought it was cute.
Don't jump all at once.
It's yeah.
It's all right.
Good. Fine.
All 3 episodes I didn't. Oh,
You know what? To
Keep
his
going,
point,
Francis.
they're not memorable. I watched them, and then literally when we came to do the show tonight, I had to go back and read the little synopsises just to remember what the hell happened. And I'm like, oh, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
They were okay, but
Yeah, I just remembered like Neelix cheese. That's the only thing that popped to my head.
and yeah.
Well, in
And
general,
the Voyager, that was it.
well, in general, and Wayne and I were talking about this. The real star of Lower Decks are the production people that put all the Easter eggs in the background, which is great for diehards. But if I'm a new Trek person, do I get half the jokes? I don't know. I mean, I really when the DS9 documentary came out, and everybody was talking about, DS9 is kind of misunderstood, and it's my favorite. It's always been my favorite. But now it seems like Voyager is having that same kind of moment where, for people who watch Berman Trek, Voyager is finally, it's like, hey, it's actually better than we initially gave it credit. And I feel like it was diminishing results, with the exception of DS9, which was its own thing. But, you really think of that same concept of Next Gen, Voyager, and then Enterprise and stuff. It was diminishing results each time because that was the network pushing for, we want more of the same. We wanted to feel like Next Generation. But I do think there are great, significant Voyager episodes. And I thought, yeah, this thing, took a piss in the right way of a lot of great Voyager moments. I love, Tuvix for me, when it first came out, I'm like, what the fuck is this? And it was kind of hilarious. But now I do appreciate the real moral issue of, okay, we've got a merged being. What do we do? And it's, again, I kind of feel, I feel like I'm the old man screaming from the porch. But a lot of times, because even when we get into the very short treks, I've been watching the reviews, and people are like taking some of the things they do in the short treks and on Lower Decks and going, well, really, it is kind of a serious subject. I don't know if in that first very short treks, if they were being inclusive or making fun of inclusivity. What were they trying to say? And it's like, it's a goddamn joke. Calm down.
We're already on the short trek thing.
Well, no, I'm
all right. I was just gonna say, hey, but may I interject?
If I may, I'm talking in the macro for people.
Okay, I'm in the micro. Now listen to this. It's been a couple weeks since I interrupted you, so let me have at it. Right. I've been dying to do it. The B plot is the best thing on the show, and I want to see more of that. So much so that I'm annoyed when they go to the regular show because I'm like, oh wow, the Klingons just got wiped. What the hell is that? Oh, this is cool. And then the last episode that was just on, there was no reference to the B plot whatsoever. And I'm like, what are you doing? What's happening to that thing that's out there? That's actually a good Star Trek story going on. But to your point, that was kind of cool seeing the Nomad when they went into the whatever the warehouse, like the Raiders warehouse where they had all the other stuff. And they go, oh, there's the thing that they did the hopscotch. Items. Yeah, and restricted items. That's kind of cute, but I'm like, why would they hold on to all that? But whatever.
Well, exactly. But no, you're right.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
And now that they're all lieutenants, that's kind of like the whole thing. Like, oh, are we really ready to be here? We're not lowered. How come they didn't get moved out of their little bunk bed quarter? Didn't they get like their own little rooms yet? I was like, what's happening?
Well, they did in that second episode.
Oh, did they? I must have missed
and that was and by the way, in that second episode, I thought the B plot was much, much better than the Moopsie bullshit. The B plot was Boimler trying to get, comfortable in his new quarters. And I thought it was funny. It was a Seinfeld lift where he's right by the glowing
Kenny Rogers. Kenny.
Yeah. And it's the episode. But yeah, he's too close to the nacelle. So he's got the red light screaming at him, or then he's between two holodecks and he can hear what's happening in the holodecks.
That I saw. Yeah.
Those were funny. What wasn't funny was Mariner once again. Oh, Ramson's going to demote me. Well, I'm going to beat him to it, and I'm going to ruin my own career. And it's like, I was telling Wayne off there, I'm like, there's no logic to that, and we're back to first season Mariner bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm so clever, I'm going to outdo myself. And it's like, I don't think it's funny, and I'm sorry, I just don't. I mean, Rick and Morty plays with reality, but you never see Rick try and screw himself over on purpose the way they project.
We'll find out this season with a new voice.
Yeah. Hey, you know what's weird? Ever since we saw the live action version of Mariner, I look at her character totally different now because I keep going, wow, if that was a real person, would they really be running around screaming like that? And I'm like, oh, it's weird. Like, I could see Boimler as Jack Quaid. I'm like, yeah, he looked real. But now that I watch the show, I go, huh. Now that I saw Mariner as a human being, it looks bizarre to see her screaming and ranting and raving on that cartoon. I know it's animated. It's supposed to be, expanded upon. It's animated.
Exaggerated.
But exaggerated. Thank you. That's what I was. One of those E words.
To King of the Hill, Simpsons, Rick and Morty. Yeah. Where they don't have to scream to make their jokes effective.
But you do have it in Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah. Bugs Bunny.
Cow and Chicken.
There's a way to do it funny, but this isn't funny. No. I watched I watched all 3 episodes yesterday,
Okay.
knowing that we were going to do this, and I can't distinguish one between the other. Having watched
Exactly.
them back to back.
Yeah.
I remember now that we're talking about the things in the episode, but none of these things are really kind of
Sticking.
maybe I'm
Didn't
just
stand
in
out.
a pissy
Yeah.
mood.
The
But
only thing that for me in the 3
not finding
episodes that
anything.
stand out is the B plot. I want to
Yeah.
know more about the
Yeah.
aliens.
Right.
I'm also trying to figure out. I was talking to John about this. They first, I watched it in reverse. I watched 2, then 1. But I'm trying to figure out where in space this thing is coming from because it attacked the Klingons first, then the Romulans.
Yeah.
So how is that in relation to Federation space?
Well, I know
'Cause who's next?
I know that the Romulans and the Klingons are in the Beta Quadrant, from my memory of the old
Nerds.
Galaxy. I know, absolutely, from the old Star Trek poster, and in fact, a great, fun store that's in Chicago, American Science and Surplus, has a big Star Trek poster of the galaxy and how it's divided in the 4 quadrants and everything. I don't know. I mean, again, yeah, I don't know.
Because
We'll
then it would have traveled fast between the two empires, the Romulan
sector.
Empire and the Klingon Empire.
I don't know how much space there is between
So
them.
so we're talking about a B plot that has
least
what
that
about
much.
2-3 minutes?
Yeah, but but I don't consider that a B plot. I
No.
consider that a runner
Okay.
that will eventually be explained. I have all right, my prediction about that. Anybody else before I give you my prediction of what that ship is?
No.
Does it involve whales?
No. But you'll notice that in the opening now in Lower Decks, you've got the ho-ho with the soccer ball from Star Trek 4 that's threatening the Earth, and we need the whales to communicate with it. I always thought that thing was like a giant ho-ho with a soccer ball.
Oh yeah, I could see that. I was
Oh, I always thought it was
The
a
It's a
big
big
Tootsie
ball.
Roll.
It
I
could be a
thought
turd.
I
as
thought
well.
a Tootsie
Space turd.
Roll with an
I
eye.
always
yeah.
thought Tootsie Roll.
Yeah.
Roll is fine.
It always
I
looks
agree.
like poop.
Poop.
Yes.
Space
Yeah.
poop.
Like a shiny poop.
Yeah, it's like in Caddyshack where the Baby Ruth is.
I want to
Baby
know.
Ruth,
I want to know,
yeah.
like the designers, like the production designers, are like we can't come up with anything. Just make it look like a piece of poop. Like who
It's
greenlit
space.
that? Yeah,
It's space.
It was
No one
cheap,
knows.
probably cheap CGI. Who knows? I think, and I can't tell from the design of the ship or anything, as the video people know. I'm showing the ship right now.
Yes.
I think it is, and especially after watching the rerun recently, I think it's those 3 AIs that are Peanut Hamper, the 1010101 thing that he, when they lock up Peanut Hamper after being on the bird planet, she's
Yeah.
next to the one evil AI and the other evil AI. And I have a feeling, because the way they were all maniacally laughing at the end of that episode, that they have teamed up, gotten out of their prison, and this ship is their ship. That's
You know who it could be?
Who?
Well, first off, it looks like General Grievous's head from Star Wars. But
it absolutely
anyway,
looks like Grievous. Go on.
it could be V'ger coming back. V'ger 2. It's the combination of the Deltoid and what's his name? Matt Decker.
Oh, it's Decker and Ilea.
no, they
It's
would
their-
bring
it's
up
their-
Stephen
it's
Collins.
their-
Yeah.
It's their baby.
Could be.
Because when it shot the Klingon ship and the Romulan thing, that's another thing. They just destroyed the shit out of those people. It was
Do you know
cold
what it
blooded.
also looks
I
like?
was like, wow, that's hard.
It looks like the Delta Flyer.
A little bit.
Yeah, like they just turned it on its side. Yeah,
Yeah.
Sure, it does. No,
probably
you're right
the
about
same
that.
model. They said,
Which
hey,
was
same-
conspicuously absent in the Voyager first Tuvix episode when they were going all around Voyager and everything. We didn't see the Delta Flyer.
Yeah, there we
Hold on.
go.
I'm going to zoom in, Wayne.
Because that's the first thing I thought of when I saw it. It looked like the Delta Flyer.
yeah, it does. It's just they turned it on the side.
Yeah, and,
No, you're
and
right.
since they have so many
Good call.
Voyager
Wayne.
references,
Yeah, rotate the model. No one will
Good
know.
call.
They took the
No,
3D
I-
model and turned it.
I think that's a great prediction and good eye.
Let's see. Oh, the linear chip gag was kind of funny. All these were just like a bunch of little gags, and I was like, yeah, all right. Like Franco said, I watched 2 episodes back to back, and then I watched the third one this week. And you shouldn't watch Lower Decks like that because none of them are substantial enough to stand out, and it really does blur into it. Like, wow, there's nothing going on here, you know. We didn't learn anything new.
Well, and
We
that's
learned. Oh, actually, Boimer. I take that back. Boimer, whatever. He had the best of all three of the episodes I watched. The whole bit where he was on the planet and the volcano and all that. He actually did something like, oh look, that guy's doing something on his own, which was interesting. But the other ones were doing the same wacky hijinks. Let's pull a prank on that guy who gave us that shitty job, and we'll set up that like door thing. Oh, I hope it's not that thing. I had nightmares about that as a kid. And they're like, oh shit, we set it up. And I don't know. It seems it's like first season shit. And now it's like we're going back to that. We're on season 4, aren't we?
Well, I'd even argue that Boimler's mishaps were very first season as well.
Yeah.
Even though he's got the promotion. I actually liked the A story of the third episode because that structure that they all live in reminded me of the space station in the third JJ movie, where it was like kind of a spherical kind of thing. And I didn't mind. They at least play with classic Star Trek tropes. Evil computer, or not evil, but AI runs the society, this computer, it's failing. Okay, we got to fix it. That was all right. I didn't mind that.
Was that an old episode reference? Because I thought it was that. Remember that planet where they had to walk in, the war was going on between the two countries, and you had to go inside. Oh, we could so many casualties today, and they would kill themselves.
Sure.
That wasn't like connected to it.
You could point to that. You could point to Landru. Where Frontier Town, and it's the evil computer running things. You could point to the Apple with that AI running that planet. So I think it's a kind of classic trope. Even the Arsenal of Fear from season 1 of Next Generation, where it's the weapons planet, and Riker's fucking with the AI because they have a captain that Riker served with, and my ship is the USS Lollipop. It's a good ship. Mm-hmm. And then the A is like, what's the complement of crew members on the Lollipop? And it's like, all right,
So it also reminded me like the ring from Halo.
Sure.
If you played Halo.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I liked it. Artie's with us. Hi, Artie.
There you go.
Not wrong show, Artie. Agent Doggett, but I appreciate the reference regardless. And of course, Artie loves Chakotay's name,
Chakotay.
He always says it very
confused with Chakotex, which was a tampon.
That was a 24th century feminine product.
Feminine hygiene. That's right.
Quark used to offer in the restrooms at Quark's.
That Brenda Vaccaro would do the commercial for. Hey, can I talk to you about feminine hygiene?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I only smoke 5 packs a day.
Exactly.
I thought. Did you guys watch Star Trek Day at all? It wasn't even a half hour. It was made.
We were doing stuff.
I understand. It was made to be on, I'm assuming, CBS shows.
Mm-hmm.
And it really was a commercial for Paramount Plus more than ever. But it was like made to be in a commercial half hour. It was only like 23 minutes long.
Well, the actors couldn't be on because of the strike. So what else were they going to do?
Well, what they had was, if I may, let me describe it to you, those of you who are noisy and didn't see it, was the fact that Jerry O'Connell had, just in case you make noise, Mitch, Jerry O'Connell hosted it, and Rutherford and Mariner were on it as animation actors because they could do it. And, man, I love, as we all know, because we met him at Mitch's Wonderful Terrificon, O'Connell is great. We like him a lot. He had a little Will Wheaton going on as far as hosting that thing, and reminded me of Stephen First in Animal House. Oh, boy, is this great! And it's like, maybe not.
I assume that was all filmed before the strike. I assume,
or they can get around it because of COVID.
Yes.
Not COVID. They're animation.
Yes.
Because they're animation people. I don't know.
Well, no, I mean O'Connell hosting, and he's part of.
Yeah,
SAG.
but he's Ransom on Lower
Yeah,
Deck.
but you would also think he is still a SAG member.
Yeah.
And then much like Drew Barrymore, hey, I'm bringing my show back. We all think that's a bad idea. Okay, never mind.
I like how Anson Mount went after Drew Barrymore, but he spelled the word damn wrong. I'm like, man, actor, come on, bro.
How do you spell it?
DAMN. He said, "You're gonna make it like the dam's about to burst." I'm like, "Excuse me,
Oh, I thought it was
actor,
that damn. I thought it was
actor.
that damn Drew Barrymore.
There's no N. There's no N in damn."
No, you're right.
Yeah.
Not in the physical dam. You're absolutely right.
No, I know, but I just said it. Just like, man, come on.
Yeah, that is I know that is disappointing.
See, that's why they need to settle the writer's strike, so he can learn how to
learn these people.
say
Yeah,
things.
absolutely.
And Dave Mandel wants it over so he could bid on this big Star Wars X-wing model that they found from the original thing. He goes, "End the strike. I want to buy this. I need money."
Can't blame him. Absolutely.
No.
It's funny. It was called, "Hey, it's a celebration of animation." That's what the point of Star Trek Day was this year. But they, of course, conveniently left out Star Trek Prodigy.
Well, why couldn't
Paramount Plus?
Why couldn't they have the producers on? I mean, I know they can't do the writers, but couldn't they have Terry Metalis, or is he a writer? So that doesn't count. I saw him all over social media last couple of days.
Terry has no problems talking about stuff.
See?
Well, and further, the writers can talk. It's the actors that can't talk, but the writers can if they choose.
Oh, that strike's over. That one, right? No,
No,
but
different
they're-
guild.
No, they have different. They just have different rules of what they can and can't talk about.
I saw a thing today that the video game people want to have us join in now, like the voiceovers for video games. I'm like,
Mhm.
are you shitting me? That's now real money because that thing's like trillions of dollars in video games.
Hit him where it hurts.
Exactly. No, it is interesting. Yeah, I agree with you guys. I do think that a lot of times the B story is better than the A story. And that was the whole point of Lower Decks, of course, was that they were the B story while the bridge crew was dealing with whatever. And we do see examples of it still. Yeah, I as I said to Wayne off the air, I think I've finally been beaten to submission. I'm like, all right, this is what Lower Decks is. I wish it were funnier. I wish it were more. It really is self-referential, and it's like, well, that's what they want to be.
Yep.
And that's
I've given into the Stockholm syndrome. I go, you know what? I couldn't believe it's the 4th season when I went to go watch. I go, oh my God, we've been screaming about this for 4 years. I went, hey man, they wore me down. Go ahead, go whatever.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as it was in season 1, or maybe I got used to them. I don't know.
think it's a combination of the two. I think it is better in some cases because, again, personally, I think of the 3, Tuvix was the best episode.
Yeah.
I thought the most recent episode with the computer running the planet or the space station, whatever it was, I thought it was okay. And I only liked half of the second episode. I liked the Boimler story more. The Moopsie story, I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Okay. I didn't think
I saw the trailer for this year, and unless they showed all the good gags already, because there was like Orion pirates there, and they were in a bar. It looks like it's got some funny elements coming up, but it's the trailer, so they're always going to show the best parts. That's why I was like, oh well, there goes that.
We got 7 more. We'll see.
Oopsie.
Oopsie.
I know everyone likes to say Moopsie, but I whatever.
Did you think there was going to be a tie into Prodigy at all when they showed the Voyager? Like somehow they're going to be like,
no.
Oh,
I thought about that. Yeah, I thought I wonder if they're going to bring any of that in. But
I'm really. Again, we all love Prodigy the most,
right.
But the fact that they have essentially orphaned it, and again, they're trying to sell Paramount Plus. So no, it's like no, I don't expect any references to Prodigy.
Really?
Other than within Prodigy, and I am confident that Prodigy will find a home outside of Paramount Plus. We'll see. I was telling Wayne the hot rumor is that Paramount isn't happy with Kurtzman and Company and Secret Hideout's handling of the franchise, and that they brought in another group that made a 5-minute proof of concept of a different way of doing things, and the executives like that a hell of a lot more than the Kurtzman product. Now, again, this is all rumor, and it's being propagated by the biggest haters out there. But my buddy Ed Whitfield is so funny. British guy, great blogger. His blogs are really funny. He is not a big fan of New Trek either, and I really love talking to him. Talked to him last Sunday when everybody was busy.
Yeah, obviously you loved it.
Yeah,
you
cheated on us.
You didn't miss us at all.
Hey,
we're all sitting there going, what?
As you know, it doesn't take much for me to want to talk Star Trek. So I'm sorry.
We found that out.
Exactly. The hard way.
I'm not going to wait for you morons. You know.
Oh,
no.
sorry.
Whoa,
You're making a
whoa,
living here.
whoa,
Sorry about that.
whoa,
Franco was
whoa.
making a living. Wayne was buying more art. Hey,
Yeah,
cut
keep
that
chirping.
shit out. Keep
Keep
it up.
Wow.
You keep
Keep it
chirping.
up. Keep it up, Wood Balloon.
From the
Get
convention,
Artie on this show like that.
from the convention that will never be named again on Word Balloon. Absolutely. Oh, God.
Ugh.
I know. I'm fucking with you, boys. No, I miss you, but I can't wait. I can't wait.
We know that
Come
because we hear it from Bendis that you can't wait. You can't even wait after
Exactly. Apparently, when you're done with us, you call him and Tom King up, and King yelled at me. He goes, "You're the reason." No, was it Bendis?
Bendis,
Wayne that
it was
said,
Bendis.
"You're the one that sets him off," and then he calls me for 2 hours because I'm on the West Coast, and he goes off about it because we just hang up and go home. I'm
I
like,
have a disease.
Oh, we know
I am
that.
the
Several.
I am the
Yeah.
first to admit I have a serious
Put some
problem
salve
where
on it.
I think about Star Trek every goddamn day. I am
Yeah,
not.
you get
proud of
some
it.
get some calamine lotion.
Get away from that
you'll be
doom
fine.
cock, and you'll be all right.
I need a counselor. I need the session with Deanna Troy. I'd like a lot of sessions. With
Hold
Deanna.
on.
Boy,
I got something right here.
I love her. One of my favorite Greeks. What do you got?
That's crinkle paper just to piss you off.
Please don't.
Like
Oh,
a
that's
voodoo,
where-
I have a voodoo doll.
Mike goes, maybe John can do a daily Star Trek show.
He should.
Do not even start.
You
Do not
should, don't
even
do it
start.
just like
Well-
The View. You could call it whatever.
Well,
Star
and you
View.
guys,
Trick view.
Franco,
Trek View.
I know you were hanging with Katie Cook and Andy Price, and it's like, oh, I got to get Andy on, man.
Yeah, he's a nerd.
Because Andy loves this. No, man,
Yeah.
I have my list of my guys and women that I know I could talk Star Trek with. Tana Ford is another fine person.
Chris
that-
Claremont is another fine
Chris
person.
Claremont was all into the Trek, yeah.
Maybe not Chris, although he wrote
And,
that really good.
Andy
wrote-
Price had a
wrote
gray Enterprise thing on NC 1701 on Star
yeah.
Trek Day. He was all excited about it. He's like, guys, it's Star Trek Day. We're like, oh no. Another
Cully
one.
Hamner,
Cully.
Johnny Lehman. No, I've got my buddy Scott Larson here in Chicago.
Yeah,
No,
boy.
believe me, man. No, hey, I admit it. I can't help it. This is how people are with Star Wars. This is how I am with Star Trek.
I
Can't
like
help it.
Star Wars, but
I was telling Wayne, I'm still not motivated to watch Ashoka. I know it's 5
Ooh,
episodes in.
Oh, I haven't watched it yet
You
either. I gotta
enjoying
catch up.
I don't know.
it's good. It's really good. I watched it this week. My nephew calls me. He's like, Uncle Mitch, are you watching it? I'm like, yes, I am.
I
Tuesday
gotta
night.
catch up.
I'll tell you what,
Wayne,
Tuesday
you
night
gotta catch up, Wayne.
Tuesday night at 9:00 is not a good night, believe it or not, because I actually forget it's on. I'm like, oh yeah, oh
I keep
shit, it's
thinking
Tuesday at
Wednesday.
9.
I keep thinking it's Wednesday as well.
Well, I'm used to that dropping at 3 a.m. type of thing. So when
Yeah.
we wake up, it's on. But when it's on at 9:00, it's like the old days when Three's Company used to be on. I'm like, wait, I gotta wait till 9:00 to put it on? Is this
Of every show you could think of, fucking Three's Company. I love
yeah.
it.
Well, it was Tuesday at
the
9:00. So
It was Tuesday. It was a Tuesday
yeah,
night. show,
thank you. Central
Uh,
time.
Was it? No, it was. Excuse me. It wasn't.
It
Three's
was
Company.
Happy Days. No, it was
Hold on.
Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley. Then Three's Coming, then Taxi, and then Heart to Heart because I didn't go
No,
out
what
and
I
have
was
dates.
going to say is when I talked to Tim Matheson, he had a Western that didn't make it a full season, and it was really great. And I was thinking maybe it was Three's Company that I was watching instead
No.
that he jammed me on, and he goes, no, man, we were opposite Charlie's Angels. He goes,
Oh,
you liked us for a couple weeks, and then you discovered Charlie's Angels, and you dropped us, and I'm like, yeah, pretty much. Okay.
horse hockey.
Mike says regarding Ahsoka,
Yes.
it's decent, but a lot of the modern Star Wars has been lacking.
Yeah.
So there is that. Yeah, and it's the same problem that I think Paramount is having with Star Trek in terms of, I hate to say it because they're saying this about superhero movies in general, oversaturation.
Yep.
And it's like, no, you got to make it special. If you don't make it special, then, and that's why I'm like, all right, I'll get to Ahsoka. It's there. I don't have to rush to see it.
Liam Neeson, Qui-Gon Gin and Tonic himself, said on the Conan O'Brien podcast, God forbid somebody listens to another podcast, but he said he thinks they did too much Star Wars. It was a cool thing when it was special, But he says now there's just too many shows and too many cartoons and movies, and they've kind of watered down the mythology, and it's not as special. And I agree, but Mickey Mouse wants to make fucking money, so it's a business. So that's why.
Yes.
Yeah, before I told you guys about something funny my son said, which I'm not going to repeat here, but he said something else that's funny. I'm flipping through the channels the other day, and there's a Young Jedi show on Disney that I had no idea about.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Is this a show?" I'm like, "Apparently, because it's on TV." He goes, "Why? They're all going to die anyway."
Yeah, it's all about little tiny kid stuff with Yoda.
Yeah, I'm like,
and you're
okay.
like,
Oh, it's a Y7 show. Okay.
It's a
Yeah.
Jedi Academy show, but he's like, Hayden
They're all
Christensen is
gonna
going
die.
to just mow them all down in a
Pretty
while.
much.
Why did he even do
Master,
this?
why are you looking at us like that?
Mm.
It's an adorable little Jedi with a list that's about to die.
all they had to do to get rid of that is he walk into a room with a bunch of stormtroopers, and they executed all the kids, and all you heard was gunfire. But as soon as he turns that lightsaber on, Master Skywalker, what are we gonna do? Psst. It's like motherfucker just sliced and diced a bunch of kids.
Well,
there ain't no redemption for that. But
Yeah, but
hey,
if they had stormtroopers do it, like all the kids would have lived. 'cause
it's
they
not
would've-
as
they would've missed
bad.
them.
Yeah,
They
they
would've-
would have missed.
Oh, that's true. They would have lived.
Much
Well,
like
there's a lot that lived actually.
much like Empress. Yes, that is the other. It's like when the Scarlet Witch said no more mutants, and it's
Yeah.
like somebody forgot at Marvel to get the memo because
No,
there's
it was
all-
always so cool when you were a kid because Obi-Wan was like the last guy, and then you find out there's Yoda, but that's it. And then Luke is the last Jedi. Even Yoda tells him that as he's dying, and it was like, oh, that's so cool. He's the last samurai, Then you find out, nah, we got Ahsoka over here. We got this other fucking kid over
Apparently,
here. this other one.
Obi-Wan
He
either
lies.
had dementia, Alzheimer's, or he outright
Chronic
lied
liar.
He
because
lied.
Yeah,
there's
Jedi
like
lied.
Jedi all over the place. But I
Yeah,
love
he
how
was
this has turned
crazy.
into a Star Trek talk, Star
No,
Wars
well,
talk.
I was-
yeah, we can go
I was
back to
about to
that.
pull it back to Star Trek and say, like Emperor Giorgio, Darth Vader is irredeemable, and I think Mirror Giorgio is also irredeemable, and I can't wait for this bullshit Section 31 movie that we're going to get 10 years from now with the way the strikes
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
Whatever. But all right, pulling it back to that, let's talk about these the big here, Artie.
Artie.
Ahsoka. Let's pull it back to these very short treks,
Oh, yeah.
which I appreciate the aesthetic that they're having fun with the filmation style of 70s animated Star Trek. I don't mind that. What I do mind is, once again, the men are the butt of the jokes, and I'll start with the first one, Skin a Cat. And I'm sorry, they call this blonde character the Captain, but come on, man. They don't have the balls to say, yeah, we're making fun of Kirk again. And Kirk saying inappropriate shit. More one way to skin a cat.
Oh,
And Rice goes, hey, fuck you.
Yeah.
And everybody else does. And it's like,
When did they release these?
I thought that was fan made shit.
all right, Mitch, they're inspired by those fan made ones that they did where they took actual audio from Next Generation and Voyager and made very good lookalikes. And of course, Paramount. Hey, first of all, I'm glad that Paramount didn't cease and desist that guy, but said, "Oh no, those are fun. We'll do our own." Problem is, your own not that funny.
No.
And I'm not offended. I'm slightly annoyed that once again, let's make Kirk look like a moron.
well, I don't think that they were making the guy who may look like Kirk look like a moron. It just
didn't
just
look like
wasn't
Kirk
funny.
either.
It's like Saturday Night Live sketches that go too long.
So
You're
they
like,
released these on Star Trek Day? Is that what you're going to say,
Yes.
Johnny?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was looking for them on Paramount Plus. I'm like, what are you talking about? Because you sent me a note say watch these,
No.
and I'm like, what are you talking about? And then Mitch, you piped up and said, oh, they're on YouTube. So I looked them up, and I saw this, and my first reaction in the chat was I wrote it to you guys. I'm like, oh, what the fuck did I just watch? Like, what did I just watch here? And I missed. I saw the Skin a Cat, but then the Holiday Party, I missed that one, which was funnier.
Oh, that's
thought.
good. Yeah, it was.
But in between, I saw a Voyager one modeled on the old classic. Like,
Well,
but
I
that
didn't see
wasn't
that.
one of
But
these
that's the
ones. It was
fan
an
one.
old one. Right,
Yes,
that's the
James
fan one.
White.
That's
Those
what I
are
was
the
going to say.
fan-made ones. Yes.
Right, that just popped up. I thought it was one of these because it
No.
popped up next in the view. So I watched it, and that one was even funnier than the Skin a Cat. And I'm like, I don't know what they're doing here. Although I did find it humorous that Spock
Oh, the
thought, you know,
Spock one
everybody,
was funny. Yeah,
everybody
yeah.
dying was funny.
I thought it was lame. Yeah, his blooper reel. Oh, this is funny.
That, yeah,
Your
yeah.
legs. Yeah, hilarious. I was happy to see Hemmer again.
Yep.
And I like the fact that the Enterprise Strange New Worlds crew was animated. My challenge to these very short treks is let's see one of the women from New Trek be made fun of. Let's see one of the or let's see Dr. M'Benga made fun of, because I don't think they're going to do it, because they don't have the balls to do it. They've been making fun of Spock for for 2 seasons
Since Discovery.
Yeah, well, there he's just dyslexic and ineffective. But yeah, like again, Strange New Worlds Spock is nerdy high school kid in his first year at freshman year, and I don't understand these humans. Which again, I don't buy the premise. I do not.
He's like Sheldon Cooper on
Yes.
Big Bang Theory
Yes.
more than anything.
Exactly, absolutely. Whatever, but yeah, it's like, oh, all right, great. Let's see him make, like I said, let's see him make fun of the women. I
don't know. Did you see
I
what
will
Christine was wearing? It was
I
a
will
really bad outfit.
What?
Yeah,
And
thanks.
the holiday one that Christine was wearing was a bad outfit.
Yeah, okay. I will.
I was wondering. Okay.
My challenge is whenever they finish whatever this wave of very short treks are, my challenge is let's see him make fun of the women. I am willing to bet that they will not.
I'm surprised that these are actually from Paramount. Like, I asked you guys a couple times in the chat. I'm like, is this like an official thing? Or I was very confused.
Terrible. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Timur says his friend voiced Moretz, Christina Milzia. And yes, well, you're right. He says she's the first actress to voice the character since the original animated series in the 70s, originally voiced by
Michelle Nichols.
Nope.
Majel Barrett.
Majel
Your
Barrett.
mom.
Mitch is correct. Absolutely. Because Gene Roddenberry's first and foremost thing was
money.
Let's make sure my wife gets paid.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, no problem. Well, what I love is, originally they only wanted Kirk, Spock, and McCoy Filmation cartoon, and Leonard Nimoy's like, you better get everybody else or I'm not doing it.
Yeah,
not everybody but Chekhov, but at least Walter Koenig wrote one, so at least you had one for him. But yeah. Oh no, and then, James Doohan and Majel Barrett would voice a ton of characters on the original. That 70s show is great because they treated it like Star Trek. I saw Lou Scheimer, the man behind Filmation, at one of his last San Diego panels going, hey, as far as we were concerned, yeah, we knew we were animated, but we were making season 4 of Star Trek, and we took it seriously, and we hired good writers, and they did. I mean, and that's why that show is fantastic, and it bums me out that Roddenberry's like, well, it's not canon. And it's like, fuck you, it's great canon. DC Fontana writes that yesteryear time travel story with Spock saving himself. It's like, come on, man, it won a goddamn Emmy. I mean, that's how good that show was. So I'm glad that at least they are honoring it with these very short treks. I just wish they were funnier. And man, I don't know. Am I nuts? I mean, they have like 3 to 4 minutes to make these things. And I've seen more plot development in porn for clips that short than what we were getting in these presentations.
Wait a second.
So on an off week, are we gonna talk about Star Trek porn then? Is that what's
that's a whole new thing going on now.
That's a different genre.
That's a different show.
Artie says, ew.
Star Trek After Dark.
Ew. So, the mind meld. That'd be interesting. So let me tell you. So they were allowed to write these. This is after the strike. These episodes, or we don't know.
The short trek.
Who wrote
it.
those?
Takes a while to do those.
Oh, you think? Oh, okay. It was done a while ago.
Yeah, but
I don't know. Nowadays,
still under a different guild.
Oh, okay.
Also,
You gotta remember, Disney had all that control back in the old days.
That's why they
wanted to make sure that animation was separate from the Screen Actors Guild and the Writers Guild.
Walt was not going to lose money to no communist strikers. He probably thought.
Exactly.
So. That's right.
The mouse strikes again.
All I can say is
save us, Mickey.
Much like Lower Decks, I like the aesthetic, but I think they could be funnier. I'm hoping they will be funnier in the future. But yeah, I'm a little, you know.
Why
whatever.
do you think we're getting more of these things? I thought it was
Yeah,
just
there
for
is.
Star Trek Day.
Of course there
That's
are.
it.
No. Oh no, they said
I
there's
don't-
several. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And also, I would imagine there might even be more to keep interest there.
Yeah.
They are on Paramount Plus somewhere. Because
I know what I looked on my search for Amazon. I couldn't find anything. That's why I gave up and went to YouTube to find them because I tried, dude. They don't come up at all. It comes up the lower decks, the little after things, the ready room, all that stuff. When you type in Star Trek, nope, no short
All
trek.
right,
So I don't know
gentlemen,
what.
the titles for the next 3 very short treks. Episode 3, Worst Contact. Episode 4, Holograms All the Way Down. Episode 5, Walk, Don't Run.
okay.
Where did you see him, Johnny? On your Paramount Plus?
Well, initially I saw him on the StarTrek.com website. Then I saw him on YouTube. But I do know after one of the lower decks that it offered as the next option to watch.
Yeah.
The Skin a Cat one. Yeah, I don't know. God, and I've been watching reviews of them, and it's interesting because again, they were very blatant in the descriptions on Star Trek Day that this is not canon. That's fine. That's okay. I don't mind. I don't mind a good parody, but the operative word is good. And
They're not canon. The lady with the panty head with her knickers in the
Yeah,
chest,
The guy with the ass head and the
screw head.
Yeah,
screw head.
exactly.
Really? Well, I thought
You
that
know.
was real.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, man. And then I saw some reviewers like because they showed in the blooper one, they showed a Discovery blooper, and you had Giorgio Saru, you had everybody but Burnham, and I'd like to point that out again because we don't want Burnham anywhere near these jokes. Burnham's a sacred cow. Let's stay away from making fun of Burnham. But Saru, this guy's like, well, Saru is actually wearing a 30th century
uniform. I caught that.
Discovery. Yeah, but I'm like, again,
was that Saru?
Yeah, it was Saru.
Yeah, it was him. Yeah,
absolutely.
it was the same voice of the
Yeah,
actor.
Doug Jones did it.
Yeah, Doug Jones did it.
I was
Doug Jones
confused
did
as
it.
well.
I don't know if Uhura was
Yes, it was.
Was it okay? Because it wasn't our favorite woman, Jess Bush.
No, she cried though. She had a tear. I was like, oh.
Well, she spoke though too. So
Did she?
Yep. Donna's
So how was Saru there? Oh wait.
They were
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he had the old 30th century uniform.
Right.
Yeah, he had a red. He had that uniform that had red in it and everything.
Yeah, I'm
You
so
It looked like
confused about everything now.
Wrath of Khan uniform.
Yeah. God, when was the last time Discovery was on? It's been so long.
I'm dreading its return.
No, was it a year ago already?
Sure.
Was it?
Sure
Was it that long ago?
Sure.
I saw that season 2 of Strange New Worlds comes on DVD or Blu-ray on December 6th. You could buy it. I saw that
my
ad
birthday.
today.
All right.
Yeah. That's your birthday?
The second is my birthday. Close enough. I claimed the month.
Make a note of that, kids.
Oh,
Yeah,
I thought you were talking about Picard because I picked that up. this week.
No. Oh,
Well,
that's season 3?
Season 3.
Yeah, Mike said if you want to talk about great modern Star Trek, I just got Picard season 3 on Blu-ray.
Oh, cool.
What special features are on it, Wayne?
Tune out audio commentaries.
Who does them? Do you know? Can you look in
No, I don't. I haven't opened it up yet. Haven't listened to it.
Oh, we have another interesting thing that happened
Hold
while
on.
we've been away.
And hang on to that thought, Mitch, because right now we're talking about the Blu-ray for season 3.
I know. I have a
Don't
Blu-ray.
rush through. Don't rush through the subjects. Let's spend some time for a minute.
We got to milk this.
Let's see if they say.
Yeah. Gotta know this.
Says the gang's all here. Villainous Vladik, gag reel, Picard, the final season Q&A, making of the Last Generation, rebuilding the Enterprise D, and deleted scenes.
That's cool.
Yeah, sounds like there's a lot of cool stuff on it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, they don't have the inserts that they used to do, because if you had the inserts, you could see who did the audio commentaries.
Bummer.
Nerds.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
just
what were
this.
you- I'm sorry, Mitch. What were you going to say?
What I was gonna say is why we were gone. That Disney released several of the Disney Plus exclusive shows onto DVDs and steelbooks that they came up for. There was Mandalorian season 1 and 2, Scarlet Witch, well, WandaVision, and Loki season 1.
Mhm.
So my question to you is: it because the new Disney people are losing money and they're like, "Hey, look, we got to make money on this stuff that we spent, so just put it out there for everybody." And by doing that, does it not backfire on them and people go, "Well, what the fuck am
I
I
don't
buying
think
this
so
for?
because
I'll just wait for the DVDs to come out now."
I don't think
Or
so
whatever.
because those things have to be put into production way in advance of this thing happening. The strike's only been happening for what, a few weeks?
No, they've been losing money though for a while on that.
Yeah,
Disney
COVID.
Plus
I mean, in
Right.
general, yeah, they're
I,
just
yeah, Disney. Yeah,
yeah.
I get that. I thought you were saying it was a
No,
company
I'm just saying.
strike.
I thought that was the whole idea, that I don't put this out for the general public. Make them buy Disney Plus if they want to watch all
Sure.
this special
Right.
content.
So
but
you're
now,
you're
now
asking
they've
about
lost
you're asking about Disney, the corporation that makes you stand online. Literally, you pay to stand online to get on their
for
rides.
hours
Look
for
at
2 minutes. Yeah.
you're saying that they're not looking for any way that they can make money? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying it looks like they're raising the white flag and saying, "Look, we get it. Not everyone's going to go buy Disney Plus, so we're going to repurpose this stuff." Like Paramount Plus tonight, I saw that. What's that show with Kevin Yellowstone is now on CBS. I don't know if it's because of the writer's strike and they don't have any new
No, they did
content,
that. They did that last
or
year too.
no, it said tonight. It's the first time on regular broadcast TV, season 1, episode 1, and it's going to be on every week of Yellowstone. Is it because they're like, we got to make money on this stuff because no one's
Well,
buying Paramount Plus or whatever the hell it was on, Peacock? I don't know what
I,
it was
I
on,
think
and
the
now it's on
choice.
this.
I think the choice to put Yellowstone on CBS is partially strike driven.
Yeah.
So because they have product that hasn't been exposed to everything, but I also think the larger problem that had nothing to do with the strike is they suddenly realized that not everyone is going to buy every streamer, and putting that stuff exclusively or rushing things like movie things to streaming has hurt them because
Yep.
people won't go to the theaters anymore. I had this conversation last night with my good friend because he was reading Tarantino and Scorsese bemoaning the superhero movies in general, how it's ruining Hollywood. And it's like, no, the studios ruined Hollywood.
Yeah.
Because, and it started even before COVID, where this idea of streaming was a great novelty. Then COVID happened, and they're like, well, God, we've got all this stuff that's clogging up the pipeline and no theaters to send it. So let's rush things to streaming. And certainly they've slowly kind of pulled back, but it's still, in a lot of cases, 90 days after it's been in the theaters, like The Flash. We'll see how long it'll take for Warner's to put Blue Beetle on Max.
Yeah.
And and Shazam 2 obviously already there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's like, no, this is all their fault.
Well, the weirdest thing I saw, the Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is only on digital. It's not any plans for a DVD Blu-ray release, but it's making fucking huge numbers because people didn't go see it in the theater because there was such a small window. You had Mission Impossible, you had the Barbie and all that crap. And now Indiana Jones is making fucking millions on video on demand because people are like, oh, I'll watch. It's not such a bad movie. I just didn't get a chance to see it. And Disney's probably like, don't put it on Disney Plus yet. Hold off on that. Wait, get the last cent you can get at us because we lost like 300 million on this thing. We got to get our money back on this thing. So
yes,
Barbie. The other night I saw you could buy Barbie for 20. Wait, you could rent it for $24 or you could buy it for $29. I'm like, wait a minute.
Well,
why the fuck would I do that?
As Bendis told me, it's cheaper for him to, because it was like that for Mulan.
Yeah,
when live action Mulan went on Disney Plus, and it was like $50 to rent at first or whatever. And he's like, well, that's half the price of, or even more, more than me taking my 5 kids to see Mulan in the movie theater. So I think that is the new model, Mitch, where you put it in the theater, then you release it only to rent digitally.
Yeah.
And then finally we'll see it in streaming. But that's the thing, man. Prior to streaming, the old model was either you see it in the theater or you wait 6 months to a year to see it on cable. And again, they've created this thing where like, oh my God, we're going to make so much money. And then it's like, yeah, no, you're not. Because not everyone is going to get all 10 streamers out there or more. And yeah, again, they're the chickens have come home to roost. So yeah, Yes, Artie, I know I'm swearing a lot. I apologize.
No, that's my job. Hey, would you spend money if they pulled all the old Star Trek episodes off of, where are they right now, on Paramount Plus? Or
Yeah.
is that where
They're in
are
my
now?
back room on the shelf.
No, that's what I'm saying. If they said you can't get these anymore for download, you got to buy each episode. Would you go do that, or would you go back and buy DVDs and stuff? I mean, that's the only other way they could get it.
I did buy DS9 DVDs when they were first coming out, when that was again in the pre-streaming world. But not only that, now here's the sad news. These shows still make money commercially on MeTV. 6 nights a week you can watch, 7 nights a week you can watch the original series because it's on. But if you have there's MeTV, and then there's that second MeTV, the Heroes and Icons channel. The Heroes and Icons channel runs every iteration from the original series to Enterprise 6 nights a week, including tonight. The only night they don't do it is Saturday night. Saturday night on MeTV, they still show the original series
with commercials, though.
I was watching Pluto the other day too, and Pluto had like Lower Decks on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Pluto is a sub company of Paramount.
Well, I understand that, but that's a free app that anybody can get, and you can watch it there. And they've got episodes of Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks running.
What season though? Not season 4.
The current season.
Really? Season 4 that just came out?
I was flipping through and I said Lower Decks, and it was the show. It was the one where they get mixed together.
Switched, yeah. Wow. Why? What's the point of that then?
I do know to promote season 4, YouTube was running. I don't know if they still are, and maybe they will for the rest of this month. I'm not sure. But I was watching season 3 of Lower Decks on a constant run on YouTube, and that's where I saw the Peanut Hamper Bird episode from last year. And I'm like, fine. And again, I don't care about commercials. I'm old. I'm used to television that way. I don't need TV without commercials. And no, Pluto's a great deal. Flex is a great deal. Tubi is a great deal. All these channels that offer streaming with commercials, it's like, duh, do that. I mean, I still have basic Hulu where I sit through commercials during Only Murders in the Building and The Bear and what we do in the shadows and all that stuff. I don't care. It's fine. It's not annoying. It's television. It's like they're so stupid. They have closed off these revenue streams to go to the shiny new thing, and it's like, hey, the shiny new thing isn't working. And again, that's why these strikes are like. I mean, they see all the bottom line. They see who's watching and who isn't, and it's like, we got to do something. And oh my God, now they want the Writers Guild and the actors want more money from us. Well, while we're not making money, and it's like, yeah. And also, they spend money like drunken sailors. The amount of money for Star Wars and Star Trek new product is ridiculous. And it's like, you don't need to do that. My God, pull it back a little bit. Deadpool is my best example of a movie that cost less than $100 million to make and made $600 million just at the theaters and continues to make money. And it's like, you guys know how to do it. You just have to pay attention on how you're spending money. And stop spending money like drunken sailors. I'm sorry, no disrespect to our naval fleet when I say
explain why Barbie just went past the Avengers in box office in the top 10.
Because it's a good movie.
Is it? I've yet to see it.
It's a smart, funny movie. It absolutely is speaking to multiple generations.
It makes fun of itself.
It's
funny. It's
self-effacing.
It's great. It's got great actors. They're really, really good in it. It's just written well, acted well. It's funny, self-deprecating, and smart.
And it's coming out again this week. I might go see it because they're re-releasing it on Friday in IMAX with apparently a couple.
I saw an ad saying that it's only available digitally and in movie theaters. So yeah.
Well, this is just like the way they handled Top Gun Maverick. Where it's like, this is too good to waste quickly on streaming. Let's beat the dead horse as much as we can and wring as much money out of it before we put it on
I didn't see it. Can they make it Barbie 2 or is it one and done?
No, they could definitely make another one.
Really? Well, they probably will.
To get back to Picard, there's 5 audio commentaries.
I'm sorry, please, yes.
Oh yeah, Star Trek, yeah.
Yeah, There's 5 audio commentaries, and Patrick Stewart hasn't done any of them. But
Fuck
they're
that guy.
yeah.
Well, tell us who did them.
Okay, on the Next Generation, episode 1,
Yep.
you have Frakes, Ryan, Todd, Terry, Ed, and Stephen Barton.
I don't know who that is. Who's Stephen
Don't know
Barton?
who that is.
All right.
On
He's just a guy that happened to be there that day.
17 seconds, you have Gates, McFadden, Michelle, and Terry. On the no-win scenario, you have Jonathan again, Todd, and Terry.
Mm.
On the bounty, you have Frakes, LeVar, Brent, Terry. On the Last Generation, you have Frakes, Jerry Ryan, Ed, Terry, and that's it.
Where's Dorn and
Yeah.
Marina Sirtis? And
Yeah,
I would
no,
have liked to heard from Amanda Plummer, for God's sakes. She was cool.
she might be
Yeah.
in the
Yeah, the special feature about
Yes,
that.
you are.
the villainous video. She might have her own special feature.
She
Yeah.
should.
That's my supposition. I'm not surprised that Patrick Stewart didn't do it.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all.
It's his show. It's called Picard. I mean, this is his last hurrah. You know?
Yeah, but he's doing a million interviews for it, and
I guess.
you know, and that doesn't surprise me. I'm glad that Frakes did
Shatner
it.
would
I mean,
do
it's-
it.
Shatner's a horror.
Did you see
No.
that video I sent you of
Shatner would do
Shatner
it.
doing a grocery store ad for fucking
Yes,
whatever?
Loblaws.
back in the 70s. Yeah, well, Shatner needed money back then, and yeah, Shatner wouldn't do it unless he got paid even more.
That was
beyond-
before. Yeah, that was before Star Trek became popular again, and before
Yeah.
he got T.J. Hooker.
Or
That was, Kingdom of the
Masquerade
Spiders
Party.
time.
Remember that
Well,
show?
all right,
Masquerade Party?
No, the game show.
Yeah. He was on that. They'd make you up with like good makeup and you'd come out and they didn't know. And it was like, what's my line? And then they'd pull off this rubbery mask and he was always on it. I'm like, what the fuck, Captain Kirk? And Barbary Coast. Remember that one?
Of course, I love Barbary Coast.
Yeah.
You could find all those episodes with Doug McClure. Hi, I'm Doug
Doug
McClure.
McClure.
You
might
might
remember
remember me some VD
Yeah,
movies.
The real one.
That was
real guy.
one season, right? It didn't last more than
Yeah,
that,
I don't
right?
even think a full season. I think there's only like 6 or 12 of them,
Oh,
but they're on
Barbary
YouTube.
Coast.
They are on YouTube. So
Shatner.
You
I don't know, man.
Don is right. Don's like the Picard is God. Sorry, I'm binge watching TNG. Yes, he is. And
Yes,
Artie goes TJ prostitute.
Hey, man.
I don't know, Billy. When punks like that are on the street, somebody's got to clean them up.
My
Me and
That
Jay-
favorite-
hair-
My
Go with
favorite
what?
episode of T.J. Hooker was when he parodied it on Saturday Night Live. At the end of every episode, they would always do the freeze frame, like,
Yes.
you know.
Yep.
So on Saturday Night Live, he was pouring hot coffee, and they freeze, and he's still pouring, and it's pouring, and it's burning the guy's hand.
I think you're confusing that with Naked Gun and rather Police
No,
Squad.
I think they
The
did it
Police
on
Squad did it
Saturday
as
Night
well.
Live. Yeah, they did it on Saturday Night Live with him and T.J. Hooker.
But John is right. They used to end every police squad with that,
The
and
freeze
then
frame.
and
shit
someone
would
would walk,
happen.
and someone would walk in like, Chief, I was looking at the fuzz and realized I
And
was
they're like,
oh.
yeah. Oh, that was a good
That was a-
show.
Oh, I love that show. Are you kidding? Peter Lupus, the real Nordberg, was hilarious on Police Squad from Mission Impossible.
Liam Neeson is supposed to make that like a new movie series, Naked
No.
Gun. Yeah,
yeah,
he's doing
I heard,
the
I
Leslie
heard-
Nielsen.
yeah, he's doing it. Yeah.
Please, no.
Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Oh God, he
Just
can't
because
keep
you say
making
no,
those.
doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
I
He's
know.
actually very funny, dude. He would be
Oh.
funny.
I
Liam
think Liam Neeson is great. I just don't want him to turn into Leslie Nielsen.
Oh, at this
Because,
point he's 74.
Oh,
I
I
didn't realize
know.
he was
I
that
know.
old.
Oh, he's ready
Oh,
for the
yeah.
Leslie Nielsen stage of his career.
Yeah.
I understand. We had a cheeseball sportscaster, Chet Kopic, my dear friend who's passed away, and we worked together in the early aughts. And I'm like, Chet, it's time for the Liam Neeson portion of your career. And he's like, really, Johnny? You think so? I'm like, you'd be great, man. I go, it would just be a slight adjustment and self-parody. And I go, people would adore you. Because he was very much like Anchorman, the Anchorman movies, only
Wow.
for real.
Apparently
And-
that was based on a real guy. I didn't know that. Not real, but there was a dude that Will Ferrell based his performance on that was
Oh,
out
I
in
believe
LA
it.
in the
Absolutely.
70s. It was like, hi,
Well,
I'm
all the
Doug
I mean,
McClure.
Yeah, but all the local news was like that.
Yeah,
All
we
the
had Jim Jensen out here. He was like Reed Richards.
we had a
Roger
ton-
Grimsby. Remember him? He didn't take any shit. He was a hard drinking World War II vet that told you the news, bitch, whether you were ready or not.
Bill Hader's Herb. I forget on SNL when he's the 80-something news guy on the street. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the story. You call them mini skirts. I call it going too far. Back to you. No, Herb, that was not the story. Please talk. And it's like I talk to this guy or this person, and it's a woman, but it's a woman that's dressed down or whatever. It's like, all right, fella, tell me what's going on. Those are so good. I lose my mind because again, I worked with a million of those guys in Chicago broadcasting. Hilarious.
Hard hitting, no nonsense news hounds.
It's
We
all
need
true.
those guys back.
What other Star Trek news? I'm trying to think.
There was 2 new Star Trek comic books this week. I did.
Yes.
look up.
Yes.
Echoes and something else.
Is Echoes Mark Guggenheim's?
It's got the original motion picture thing? Yeah. That's Googie.
Yeah, that's Mark's series. Yeah, I got to get Jackson Lanzig and Colin Kelly back on the show to talk about their IDW books. And I didn't realize they're leaving Captain America and Straczynski is taking over.
Yes, he is. In fact, issue 1, I think, comes out this week. And you should buy the variant cover because I have the John Romita artwork that's on that cover.
Wow. Oh, you have the original art? Wow.
I'll gladly sell it to Wayne for lots of money.
For a hamburger today.
Senior or junior?
What do you think?
Junior. Junior.
Yeah, they didn't excavate poor senior to do the art. Wayne.
Oh,
No.
you'd be surprised. There is still some old pieces that still.
Oh,
pop
there
up.
are.
Oh,
They
I'm
show
sorry,
up.
I'm
I saw a couple.
Yes.
Yeah, a couple $1,000s the other day. He did a lot of promotional stuff.
Well, I know that's the case with Kubert as well.
Yeah.
Because when NFTs were the shiny new thing, I was on a big call with a bunch of creators. I was just a fly on the wall. But Adam or Andy, I forget which one, was saying, oh, no, we've got a lot of unreleased Joe art that easily could be covers or NFTs at that point. They wanted to sell them as NFTs. So
Is that still a thing anymore? NFT?
that is a fair question. I don't know. I'd have to ask.
Imagine those people that bought that shit.
I'd have to
Yeah,
ask
what do they
the man
do?
behind Devil's Due, Josh Blaylock, who was still a believer 6 months ago in NFT.
There are still people that believe in it, but no one
Yeah,
really.
our former president is still selling the shit out of his.
Oh, that's right. He had
Wow.
those trading
He's
cards.
following the
Oh,
P.T.
boy,
Barnum
yeah.
approach.
Hey, P.T. Barnum was a genius. Lived right
Nice.
up the street.
Nice. Yeah, another Connecticut guy.
There's a statue of him right down the road.
I have no doubt.
Bethel,
For
Connecticut.
such a small state, there
We had
is
There
everybody.
are so many.
I found Mark Twain lived on Mark Twain Lane yesterday. I was blown my head. Wow. That
wow.
was weird.
I love it.
He died there. And Helen Keller lived
Edith
in
Strickland.
Easton, Connecticut. And that explains why the school's called Helen Keller School. I drive by and I go, hey, wait, she lived here? That's why they
Wait,
named the
Mark
school?
Twain lived on Mark Twain Lane?
Yeah,
Where did he live when he was Samuel Clemens?
Samuel Clemens Highway.
He lived on the riverboat and was thrown
No,
up.
it was weird. I didn't know that. Just wanted to
Langley's
say.
checking in, saying hello. Good to see you, Langley.
That'd be like you living on Franco Drive.
I do.
See? Franco Freeway. Whatever.
Haven't
Yeah.
been happy with Star Trek lately, so that's all I'm going to say.
Exactly. There you go.
Hey,
Hey.
is that Vulcan character? Is she going to be like on all the time
Oh,
now?
yeah,
Like,
and again, I think that's
what
a
is
good-
that about?
I'm glad you mentioned Talin. There's a great
Yeah.
picture of her.
Why?
And I think, no, it's another. And I like. I
It's a
never
good
remember
character.
I never remember the name of the aliens, but the Darmok at Talagra.
Yeah,
I
he's
like that
funny.
too. I do think
Yeah,
he's.
yeah.
That was funny
Yeah.
when O'Connell's character, I forget his name, said
Ransom.
that.
Yeah,
that-
when
yeah,
the
yeah,
walls fell. He's like,
yeah,
you
he
said
goes-
it, buddy.
He goes, yeah,
They
I
fist
know what I'm
bump,
talking
yeah.
about. Yeah.
Also, I liked
Oh.
for the one joke for the Moopsie that I liked was that they were able to feed him teeth, and they were Ransom's teeth, and then at the end,
Oh.
Ransom got new teeth, and it was like Matt Damon in Something About Mary, where his teeth are so
Oh,
big.
yeah, that was gross. Oh, his teeth were-
It was funny. It was
Mm.
funny. It was a good visual joke. It made me laugh.
Or the fact
They-
that Boimler had his first death experience and more to come.
Oh,
That was
see?
in the third episode.
Well, they had that bird lady back. What was her? Was that the doctor? No, the doctor's
Well,
the cat.
they
lady.
merged Captain Freeman with the counselor.
The
That's
council.
under-
Oh, the counselor. That's who. I haven't seen her in a
Yeah.
while. I'm like, who the hell was that again? Oh, the parrot lady. Yeah.
the
Well,
children
it's a
of Langley says is the Darmok race. Darmok at Tanakh.
Paul Winfield played that character.
Yes, he did.
That's right.
I would love to see some Chekhov, Captain Terrell, IDW comic books of their time together
Yeah.
for the Bug ate Captain Terrell's brain.
Terrell. His birthday was yesterday.
Terrell
Koenig's.
or Paul Winfield?
Walter Koenig's birthday was yesterday.
Oh,
I think
that-
he's 86 now, 85. He's up there.
wouldn't surprise me.
Good for
And
him.
also, I saw someone regarding Picard season 3 mention Walter Koenig's cameo audio as Chekhov's grandson or whatever. I would say with all these people, let's get some audio productions made with the surviving cast members of Berman Trek and whatever, and let's get some new stories before these guys go away. And certainly Koenig is a great example of that.
Yeah.
And hey, man, I would love a Chekhov Sulu adventure with Takei and Koenig. Get these guys while you can.
I finally saw George after like a year or two. He was on the picket line. I haven't seen him doing anything. He was always on the convention scene. I don't know what happened there.
He's getting older. It's tough.
No, but I mean, he was a staple. I mean, you'd see.
I
George
understand, and maybe
everywhere.
again, maybe he doesn't want to travel as much as.
Yeah, he definitely shows up at Vegas every year.
Was he
there
in
you go.
Vegas this year?
I bet he does. I bet he does every cruise. I bet he does every cruise.
I'm not sure about the cruises, but I'm
Uh,
well. That's if you want to get closer to a certain female, that rhymes
Jeb
with Jerry.
Bush?
Actually, she was on the last one.
What? We're
Hey,
hitting the
that's
high
great.
seas. I'm calling my wife right now.
That's great. I
Go
wish
there.
I had the money. I'd love to do
Yeah.
it.
Wait, Jerry Ryan was exactly. Was Jerry Ryan on one of those cruises?
I don't think Jerry, but Terry Farrell was on it. And
Oh,
I heard
Terry, yeah.
And the Mister I know does them.
I
all
want
the
to thank my good buddy Wayne.
Stand by.
I know. Look at that. Look at that.
Wow, boy, I'd like to.
It says, "Oh yeah, Franco."
Yeah.
I like
Oh
it.
yeah.
Mhm.
Lay it
she
on.
Thank
was
you, Wayne.
very happy when she wrote that. She liked
Yeah.
the fact that she wrote, "Oh yeah, Franco."
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah, she did.
And I agree with Langley. He says, yes, I always thought animated films shows, I'm assuming audio shows would be perfect for old Trek cast members. You'd have the most epic of crossovers. Absolutely. Well, that was something they were talking about a couple of years ago, the new Trek producers, that they wanted to make some sort of massive crossover that involved time travel so they could
Yep.
have all the various generations of Trek.
They do that already with the Doctor Who, and it's great.
Yes.
I know. I
Listen to
remember
all the
hearing about that
doctors.
too. That they were going to have Sulu was going to be on it, Deep Space Nine, and I was like, "Oh, that's great." Never heard anything more.
Speaking of which, Johnny, because I now have a little bit more time on my hands because I'm no longer teaching. Yay me, thank you. I started actually reading Coda.
Oh, the Trek novels, those
Yes.
final three. That's great. No,
I
it's a
started
great
reading
story.
it.
Great story.
I'm about a quarter of the way in the first one.
It's excellent. If people haven't bought them, the pocketbooks had its own continuity because they didn't anticipate Picard and the new Trek shows, and it went its own way. And I mean, here, a little spoiler: Picard and Beverly, prior to Jack Crusher, had a child that was named Renee after
Renee.
after Picard's nephew, and he's a big part of that Coda story. But our buddy Michael Jan Friedman wrote, I believe, the story where I believe Renee Picard was born. But yeah, they're good. They're really good. All those because these guys they were vetted, and Paramount used to check them and go, yeah, you could do X, but you can't do Y, and here's why, and you got to change the story. Again, I that's what I think new Trek needs. But they don't care. They're happy to make mediocre Trek.
Circling back to audio, I loved the old audiobooks that Takei was narrating, the old Star Trek novels. They were fantastic.
James Doohan and they're excellent. They're
Just go back and do something like that with who's
I
ever left.
found, yeah, I found a. Didn't I text you, Johnny, and I showed you like some cassettes that I found of the old novels that
Yeah.
audiobook novels that I would listen to when I would travel.
Sure. Some of them are on YouTube. You can find some of them for free on YouTube.
Uh,
Not all of them. God, there was a great one, both the novel itself and the audio presentation. And it was Kirk, Sulu, Scotty, and Chekhov stuck on a shuttle. And they were all talking about when they faced the Kobayashi Maru. And so you get Sulu's story, you get Chekhov's story, and Scotty's is like the Sulu stories are really, really sad story, and I'll leave it at that. But the Scotty story is fantastic because it is so Scotty's solution to how to handle the Kobayashi Maru. And he's even more impressive than Kirk because the simulation keeps throwing harder and harder obstacles, and Scotty just keeps beating him. And finally, the Edward's like, "What the hell are you doing? My God!" And then he confesses, "Well, it's actually X. I don't want to spoil it. So worth reading or so worth hearing the audio if you can find it." It's people that understood how to write Star Trek and make it fun, but still color within the lines. I'm sorry. I know I'm a broken record. I know I get angry, but that's why.
I've never seen you angry, Johnny.
No, it's never happened. I know. I love it. Somebody you get thumbs up on your YouTube things. There's definitely a frowny face up there. Someone is not enjoying this discussion. Good. Good. We're gonna go another hour just to get you.
Probably just Artie. That's all.
No, it's not Artie.
It's not Artie.
No, Artie's watching on via Facebook. I'm so glad. I have not changed a thing, but for a while after adding the ability to tip, I wasn't seeing comments from Facebook anymore, and we've been getting Facebook comments from Artie and Don Lenza. Yeah. So it's nice that we're getting the mix.
The tip jar.
Yes, but yeah. So there you go.
Do we know anything about Star Trek video games? I don't play them. I'm just wondering if there's anything going on.
Mitch, all I know is I relived my childhood at Terrificon when you had the arcade.
Oh, the arcade one. But no, there's that online thing that I would see
popping up on my Facebook feed.
Yeah, Frakes was doing the commercials for it, and Spiner and Jordy.
Isn't that like a mobile game?
Well,
Is it a mobile
game? And it's like World of Warcraft, where it's like, all right, to play it well, you have to keep buying stuff. So that's
I see.
Getting involved. What I do have for my VR, hold on, stand by, zooming in.
What's that?
That's
I keep seeing that on Instagram.
Yeah, that keeps coming up on my feed.
Well, describe it for the audio audience, Mitch.
All right. This is Star Trek Lower Decks Mobile. It's a mobile game, but it's the animated version of Strange New Worlds, and it has Badgie as the mascot. It's called the Badgie Directive.
That reminds me, that went on sale while we were gone. Mondo or whatever, they had Lower Decks. Was it Lower Decks action figures? And Badgie was one of the figures you could buy.
Oh, I remember seeing that.
Oh my God, one of the best cosplay at the Vegas
convention
was someone dressed up as Badgie.
Oh boy.
That's funny.
Let's see if anyone
I liked some of the evil things that Badgie was saying in his episode. I'm gonna bite your legs off for whatever he was saying. And it was wasn't it Jack McBrayer from 30 Rock?
Yeah.
That was Badgie?
Yes, yeah.
Come on, that's awesome. I love that guy.
Oh no, nobody bought them. They're still on sale. They did not sell out.
No, whatever.
The Mondo toys of Badgie.
That's cool. That's funny.
Go figure.
Mm.
No one bought the Ballmer.
I wish I knew the real numbers on how well the new merch of the new Trek stuff is selling. And again, I am convinced that Paramount sees that, and it's like, well, people seem to still like the old stuff. And this new stuff, Discovery, it's been 7 years since Discovery debuted.
You know what's funny you say that, Johnny? The only things that did sell out, I'm looking at their page, are all the original Trek stuff. It's like Space Seed, Khan, Journey to Babel. All those are sold out, but all the new Trek stuff is not sold out.
Well, that's what I'm saying, man.
Huh.
And that's one of the reasons why they revived Star Trek was that people still buy the merch. And now they're not buying the new merch. Well, what's wrong with this picture? And again, I'm amazed that it's taken them this many years to fucking wake up. And I know I'm swearing again.
No,
But
that's my job.
it's annoying, man. Here, Langley says, all right,
Yeah.
yeah, hold on. All right, let me show you Badgie. There you go. Thank you very much.
There you go. Go buy that.
Langley says, I've played Star Trek Resurgence, which is a Telltale narrative game. It's really cool. Resurgence is set after Nemesis and uses Takan, I don't know who that is, and a bunch of other elements from TNG, DS9, and Voyager. Yeah, you know, the only game that I do have, and I bought it for my VR setup, is Bridge Crew, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. You know, and you can play it solo. You don't have to play with it. It's fun to play with a bunch of other people. But yeah, and you have your choice of either next gen Enterprise Bridge or original series Bridge. And I don't know if they've upgraded to do other bridges and stuff, but it's fantastic. It's a lot of fun. So
no,
Well,
I
Eagle
gotta
Moss went
imagine
out of business doing
went out?
the the starships, because Eagle Moss went out of business.
Yeah. Oh, they did.
yes,
Oh, I didn't know that. I was wondering.
Yeah, a couple years ago.
Oh, because they used to make everything. Those people. Jesus
I have 3 of them. I love.
I have a
love
chess.
Eagle
I have
Moss.
a Marvel chess set from them. I guess I ain't getting any more pieces.
Yeah, it's
But I was gonna say, as one who runs a convention, and I see people when they buy stuff, I tend to notice that the older attendees, 45 and older, buy the big stuff. When they come walking by the front table, I see them with bags, and they go to buy the Eagle Moss and the big boxes of stuff and the statues and things. And like when they make these merchandise items, they're high price items. They're not cheap. They're not $10 at the store. They're like, hundreds of dollars for statues and prints and all that stuff.
Sure.
So the merchandise people get it. They know that there's a group of people willing to spend money on like this cool communicator and all that stuff.
Thank you, Wayne. Absolutely. They gave us all.
Yeah, but I guess, I don't think young people buy stuff like we did years ago, like a lot of merchandise, like goofy toys and stuff. I don't know.
I have no idea. All I know is they made a lot of money on these high-end things.
Yeah.
And then, hey, do you want a Captain Berman thing? No. Do you want a Captain Georgia? No.
I was going to send to you, I think I sent it to you, about the top 10 most valuable Star Trek collectibles or something like that, or things. And we're all from the 70s and Mego toys and model kits and all that stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, I had all that stuff. And again, 70s, that was 50 years ago.
Right.
Now we're all up there. That's
but
going to buy that stuff.
But of course, vintage toys are its own thing. I'm saying the one character from New Trek that seems to have sold in terms of statues or whatever is Saru. People like Saru.
Yes.
And I don't blame him. It's a great design. And of course, we love Doug Jones no matter what. And so I get
the Michael Burnham figure I sent to you was $3 on clearance over at Walmart because people didn't buy it because they just didn't. It's not. I don't see people wearing T-shirts.
People don't buy toys like they used to. I mean, 70s, 80s, and 90s, early 90s, stuff was out there, but it wasn't readily available. Now they just seem to change over and do these things, especially in the late 80s. They manufacture the toy to help the movie, so they're flooding the market with that stuff even beforehand. So who was telling me? Wasn't it you, Mitch? We were talking about it on the car ride about the Dune action figures.
Oh yeah, when I was a kid, I remember worked in like a cut rate store. Like when things didn't do well, they sold it to a closeout store. And that Christmas, we had all the Dune toy. We had the sandworms and the giant Emperor's spaceships, and there was tons of that stuff because nobody bought it because the movie bombed, and now it's worth big money because no one bought it. But
my buddy Brian Volk-Weiss, when we did one of our interviews after we were done shooting, was showing me all of his vintage David Lynch era Dune stuff.
Oh, really? He had all that? Yeah, I was pricing all that stuff at Christmas time, and nobody wanted it.
But that's what I mean. Like that's when the stuff was starting to be geared towards advertising for the movie, and now that's still that same mentality, but no one's buying things because it just changes over so fast.
Right, but also
I guess
I know, and I know we've discussed this before as well. One of the podcasts that I know were like, we don't know why the Green Lantern show, the animated show, didn't go beyond one season. It's like because the toy didn't sell, and a
Mhm.
lot
Yeah.
of animation is made to sell the toys. Joe Casey and I, whenever we talk about Generator X and Ben 10, and
Yep.
I mean, like those Man of Action guys all really understand this business, and it's like, okay, explain it to me, Lucy. And Joe always is happy to do that and everything. And it's like,
Yeah, the show has to be very toyetic.
Yeah, that's what Star Wars proved. Yeah, it's just
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, it's such a weird world that you live in now. Entertainment's crossed over to commerce so much. You go to a show, you can't just do a show because it's a good story and
No.
good characters. You got to fucking think of every possible
Mhm.
contingency. Like, well, can
To
we
make
sell it
money.
to streaming? Can we
Right.
sell like some toys? Are we going to be popular on social media? Do they have the? Oh my god! No wonder there's so much crap. Because I'll
Well-
tell you, there's going back to Barbie full circle. Maybe that's why it's such a big hit. It's one of the
Of course it is.
few touch points. Everyone knows the doll. Everyone knows of Barbie. It's been around forever, and it's got a huge new audience because there's nothing like that right now. It's so
Grandma-
disjointed.
Grandma can take her granddaughter to the Barbie
Yeah.
movie, and they both get a lot out of it. But also, as Wayne was saying, toyetic, and Langley is teasing about toyetic and stuff. No,
Yeah.
that's the thing. The studios treat these properties as commodities
Yeah.
rather than storytelling items or whatever.
They're
And-
commercially
Well,
driven
that's-
IP.
Yeah.
That's why you have such a divide between corporate and artistry right now.
Well,
With-
it's not
with
a
rights.
divide.
Yeah.
It's overreach from the corporate side.
Yeah.
And it's no, you're right, man. This is the problem, and they better fucking wake up.
No, you know Sal. Do you know the guy Sal Viscuso? Sal Viscuso was a comedian. He
name.
was on Soap. He was the
Yeah.
voice of the announcers on MASH. If you watch that, he was part of that. He said his first idea that the actors were now commodities is when he went to one of these conventions and he saw Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher there autographing for $60, $100, whatever it was. And he said at that point they were no longer actors; they were just a big giant toy or an action, and they were a commodity. And he goes, and that's when he thinks everything kind of changed in the early 2000s, and they shifted towards merchandise
Right.
and product. And I don't know. And you think of all people that would know Disney because that's what they make their money on is selling dolls and toys and amusement parks. But they don't know what's going on either. They're fucking baffled as everybody else. They're trying
They're
to figure
trying
it
to,
out.
yeah, they're trying to sell toys, but the movies and TV that they make are bad. They're
No,
not.
and
They're not
this-
interesting.
there's this new movie coming out called The Creator, and it's by the guy who made Rogue One, the director. I don't know if he wrote it as well. It's like a futuristic war picture, like Terminator and all that stuff. And he's got to save this alien kid that's going to save the world or whatever. Ordway's like, oh, do you want to go there and see that? I'm like, yeah, you know why? Because I haven't heard about this one. It's not based on a book or a toy or a comic book or whatever. It might be entertaining because it's one of a kind. And then if it makes money, everyone, we got to make 50 copies of it. We got to
Right.
go make the TV show. And then it's like, dude, sometimes just fucking walk away. That's why you said the superhero burnout people have right now.
Yeah.
It's not so much that. Like Blue Beetle's actually very good,
Oh, I
very
agree.
entertaining because it's actually breaks the mold of the typical DC depressing superhero model. It was a
Okay.
lighthearted, funny movie. And I'm like, too bad it didn't do well at the box office because it really was refreshing compared to all the
Well, that's
kill
the
yourself
problem.
Batman stuff. Yeah.
Well, that's the problem. There's been so much mediocre product that now, hey, new movie, and it's like you bit me in the ass too many times.
Yeah.
I and again, that's why I was like not interested. I'll wait. I don't need to rush to see it. And
Yeah.
man, I remember when we were having this conversation almost a year ago when James Gunn announced his, ideas, and it's like, all right, well, what are you going to do about Aquaman 2 and Shazam 2 and Joker 2 and the potential new Batman movie and Blue Beetle? Well, we're going to make this kind of, I forget even how they classified these movies, but it's like, they're not going to, I mean, obviously they did it. They killed Batgirl before they released that, but no, they're going to try and put this stuff out. But the problem is, 3 out of 5 of them haven't been that good.
And you're about to see a whole new wave of reality shows and game shows and talent shows and all that stuff because there's no more scripted
right
whatever. And this is what fucked it up, 12, 13 years ago? That's when we started getting into Survivor and all these shows. And
Survivor's over 20 years old.
Well, but all that came
That's
out
unbelievable
of
to me.
Yeah.
No, remember
you're right.
who wants to be a millionaire with Regis Philbin? That started because there was that other writer strike, and I remember they started putting game shows at night. And you're like, what's going on? And it became a big thing, like weakest connection or whatever, weakest link. So I don't know what's going to happen with entertainment now that there's no more writers, because I don't want to watch more reality shows. I don't want to watch more game shows or talent shows.
What I think we're going to see starting in the fall, and certainly depending on how long this thing is still dragged out. I know the writers are going back to negotiate this coming week, but we're going to see a lot more reality, unscripted shows, but we're also going to see a lot of imports from England and Canada and other English-speaking imports. And we'll see how they do. But and exactly as you had mentioned earlier, Mitch, about how Yellowstone is now finally running on CBS from the beginning. And it's like, okay, well, that's what they're going to do. And I understand. And also there are things at the streamers that they haven't released yet that they've been banking, and those will slowly be doled out as well. But it's going to be very, very interesting.
Did you watch Tulsa King with Stallone?
I loved it. Loved it.
It was designed almost like there was a commercial. When they went to the little breaks in between the chapters, it would go dark and then come back up. And I'm like, was that made because they're going to insert a commercial in there?
Eventually, they're going to wind up on regular TV.
Yeah.
I know that's basically the model, because
absolutely
you can't keep it on the streaming service forever, because not everybody has a streaming service.
Right.
And then you get that commercial money. Literal commercials in between things. So
right. Well, and it will sell internationally, where not every main population economy can support streaming, or the people don't do it. So there are still developing countries and other countries where this stuff will run with commercials. And absolutely.
Wayne's in Canada. Does the government still own all the network TV? Is it still Canadian TV or whatever?
The only thing is CBC.
That's it.
That's it. CTV is separate. That's under Can West. The only government TV is CBC. It's a Crown Corporation, and the Ontario government has TVO Ontario. So that's it. There's no.
Did they ever have any elaborate productions like BBC had Doctor Who? They didn't have money, but
they
ran all that stuff.
CBC, the big one, they had Kim's Corner.
Kim's
Convenience. Kim's Convenience.
The guy that he's on Ahsoka.
He's on Ahsoka. He's the X-Wing pilot.
It's on Netflix here.
Yeah, Paul, whatever. Yeah, it's Kim's Convenience is on Netflix here.
Yeah.
Well, no, and Mitch, it's like in England they have all the BBC stuff, but they also have ITV and they have Sky. So they have competing non-government networks that make British television too.
Yeah.
So Yep.
Yeah.
Very weird. Very weird.
That was fascinating.
It's just I just think it's a mess. I think if this strike doesn't end, I mean, God, what the hell's going to happen?
I just think go through more B-movie horror movies. I love it. I'm having fun,
Franco. But no, it is interesting because I know a lot of people are asking, well, how long is this going to last? And what's going on? And what could happen? Both positive.
I wasn't making fun of it. I'm actually thinking this was interesting. But
movie-wise, did you see they pushed Dune back? I'm like, wow, they're going to first. And here's the sucky part. First, you had COVID. Nobody could work because the productions were shut down. Then they had everyone's back. Now you got this going on. And I feel bad for the older actors. I mean, honestly, because I saw my guy, Harrison Ford, was going to play General Ross, and the new Captain America movie is going to be the Red Hulk. Harrison Ford's 81. He already had by the time you get going again, you hope he's still around, but he's not getting any younger. And literally, it's like,
well,
how fucking long is this going to go on, man?
Are they finished filming? I thought
they shut it down. No, it was going on, and then they shut down production in Atlanta. Yeah, Captain America #4.
Wow.
So,
all right,
they were not done with that at all.
Yeah, I agree with Langley too. He says the people that need to unionize most are the visual effects industry. Well, all the other ancillary, and they do have unions, and I don't know. That's something, Mitch. You were telling. I don't know if do you want to tease who's going to be on your Indiana Jones?
Oh, Gabe Hardman.
Yeah. Gabe
Well,
is,
now where does he fit in this? Because
Hold
he's
on.
a storyboard artist.
well, that's what you need to ask Gabe beyond talking about the movie. Get into the strikes and find out, because they're in guilds. And I don't know how many of these guilds, I'm sure from a solidarity standpoint, are standing with the writers and the actors.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, no, you should ask him, what guilds do you belong to? What are their relationships with the studios? Might we see other strikes? Because I know I've heard rumblings about the visual effects people potentially going, like, hey, we need to get paid too. So
Wow.
I don't know. I really don't know. But yeah, I'll say about Harrison Ford, that's why I've been so happy between 1823 or 1923 that he's in?
1923. That's the show.
1923. So yeah, that's the Yellowstone spinoff. And also Shrinking, the Apple show with Jason Segel. No, I'm thrilled that Ford is doing these things. And in fact, my conversation last night with my buddy who lives in Arizona, I was saying, I remember about 7 years ago, Jodie Foster complaining, I don't like these long TV shows. I want us to go back to the old thing where movies are the most important thing. And it's like, hey, Jodie, wake up and smell the coffee. The game has moved to television. Quit complaining and see the advantages of a 10-hour miniseries where you're going to have an opportunity to tell a much more intricate story and character arc than a 2-hour movie. Mm-hmm. And that's why it's like, and it's the same with Scorsese and it's the same with Tarantino that are like, movies suck now. And it's like, well, get in the new game. And that's why I was really happy that Irishman was released on Netflix as, it was as one big thing. Yeah. But it's like, hey, interesting things are still happening. And it bums me out mostly about Scorsese and Tarantino, where it's like, especially Tarantino, where it's like, well, they're not really acting in these Marvel movies. And it's like,
whatever.
Well, no, my point is, so you're telling me we had brilliant acting performances in all the 70s grindhouse shit that you love?
Yeah.
Scorsese, you got your start making crappy Corman movies and doing the best you can. Don't you see that these are big budget versions of that? And it's not, there's still room for smart stories and brilliant acting and all of that. But don't deny, I mean, I keep comparing superhero movies to the every Saturday a new Western, the way it's happening from the 30s through the 60s. And it's like, no, those movies were not as great as the Oscar winners, but they were just popcorn movies that made a lot of money because people were entertained by them. Treat the superhero movies the same way. But it's the studio's fault for wanting $1 billion return on their $300 million investment. And it's like you are playing a fool's game. Go ahead.
There's a
billion, that's what the problem is.
Say it again, Wayne.
As soon as movies went over the $1 billion, the studios just said, we just want all the money.
We got to make another one. Yeah.
That's what we want. Go ahead, Mitch. What were you
There's a podcast by Paul Giamatti. It's called Chinwag. It just started. And usually it's about weird stuff like Bigfoot, UFOs, and all this. But they had this guy who came on and talked about why people have similar stories. And it's that whole Joseph Campbell thing, like the hero's journey. And no matter what part of the world you went, there's a similar story about the hero and the villains and all that. And and Giamatti dismissed the superhero movies because he goes, oh, I was in the Spider-Man movie once. And yeah, he was in the shitty rhino costume. I know, right? And I'm like, I wouldn't compare Spider-Man 2 with like some of the better ones, but he started going off on us like, oh, the Hollywood's making too many superhero movies and this and that. And the psychologist who was on the show said, well, there's more to it than that. Why they're so successful is because no matter where you go in the world, Batman and Spider-Man and all that, they were hitting a nerve, which was a cultural thing inside all these different societies. And he says, yeah, besides all the special effects and the capes and the flying around, there's these human, and the ones that are done well, the guy said, there's this common human story about, triumphing over whatever. Sure. It doesn't have to be there. And he says, so don't dismiss them and go, oh, they're just superhero comic book kiddie movies. And he said, no, there's a real story in the ones that are done well that appeal to people, and that's why they're so popular. You get the loser, and it's like, dude, that's why they've been around for 85 years, 90 years. Don't just sit there and be a turn up your nose to it and go, oh well, it's just popcorn movie bullshit.
I was gonna say what Johnny said about the Western, like, is the prime example of this. There's some really great westerns,
Right.
Oscar winners, great acting in some of these westerns, and other ones were just made for just because,
Like-
and there were tons of those.
They're
Every
fun.
time I go over to my father's house,
Yeah.
which is like every day. He's watching a western every
Right.
single day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I didn't even know they made this many westerns.
Yeah.
I know there were a
Wayne-
lot of them, but yeah,
Yeah.
he watches them all the
My
time.
dad used to watch war movies all the time, every time, always a war
Yes.
movie, another war movie. It's like,
Yes.
okay, here we go again.
And first of all, John Wayne made like 50 crappy movies
Yeah.
before he made Stagecoach.
Or
And
The
they were
Searchers.
all- well, I'm even literally because like Stagecoach was like his first like real big,
Yeah.
like he made the big trail,
Right.
and it
right,
was a huge bomb. So for the rest of the 30s, he made these low budget westerns for
Mhm.
movie studios like Lone Star, and you could find them on DVDs in truck stops for $5 for 20 movies all over the place. But
Yeah.
another example, a different genre beyond war, were all those Italian gladiator movies that came out in the 60s, the Sons of Hercules.
I
series.
like gladiator movies.
And exactly, Joey, you like gladiator movies? And
Yeah.
no, but again, it's like they weren't trying to be Oscar winners. They
No.
were just popcorn fun. And
Yeah.
that's what the superhero movies were able to do for a while. But now with oversaturation, just like any other genre, it's like, all right, you have to have something to say. If you
Yeah.
don't have something to say, we kind of don't care anymore.
And
it's another
Scorsese, I
point
mean,
for
he's milking the fucking gangster genre. Dude,
Yeah.
that hit its height in the 20s and the 30s with
Yeah, but-
Angels and Dirty Fate and Humphrey Bogart and Jimmy Cagney. But he's still
But Casino is a complicated movie. The Irishman.
no Goodfellas. I love all those movies,
That's
but
complicated.
they're not that
Oh, I
different from each
disagree.
other.
Sorry. No, those
Well,
are elite. Those are elite and modern and more intricate than the run-of-the-mill Warner Brothers gangster movie, not Little Caesar, not when
Public
Bogart.
Enemy.
Yeah, when Bogart, Cagney, and Edward G were doing variations of Little Caesar,
Right.
but they weren't the prime movies.
But
But
you
they were
can't
just
dismiss
entertaining
all.
pop
But I'm
movies.
just saying you can't dismiss everything. Go, oh well, all superheroes, all gangs, all monster movies suck. Well, wait a minute, you got Wolfman, Frank. There's a couple of gems, but then there's the shitty ones as well.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I don't know. These guys, I think they just want to hear themselves talk. They need a podcast.
Well,
but wait a minute,
they're complaining.
Quentin Tarantino has a podcast. I've listened to it.
Oh, me too.
Scorsese doesn't, but he's probably like baffled by the
Well,
technology.
have you guys heard? Here's another great, and I don't mind talking about other podcasts because I'm not. There are so many guys and women, mostly guys, that are in the nerd genre of making YouTubes and podcasts, and are like, they're all angry because there's this one new podcast you guys might be aware of called Strike Force 5, and it's all the late night hosts. All
right. I've
on
heard
a-
about
I heard about that. Yeah.
They've done 5 episodes. They released their 5th episode this week. And these two guys, I'll even call them out. The Popcast guys are like, oh wow, well all they do is crap on podcasts all the time, and now they're making them. I'm like, well, first of all, they're not crapping on podcasts. They've been guests on podcasts ever since people got hip to the idea that podcasts are fun. But secondly, it's like, I'm not going to stop listening and watching the podcasts because Jimmy Kimmel and Fallon and John Oliver. It's Fallon, Oliver,
Colbert.
Seth
Colbert.
Colbert.
Seth Meyers. It's those 5, yes.
Okay.
And it's funny, and it's just them shooting the crap, and it's no different than the SNL podcast when Dana. And,
Fly on the wall. Yeah.
I mean, they're fun. They're fun conversations with talented people that know how to talk. There's nothing wrong with that. But by
And
the
they
same
have good
token,
stories too, actually.
Well,
Like they'll tell you stuff that you never knew. Like, really?
and it's not going to replace my love of hearing people talk about Star Trek. It's just another great podcast. So I'm thrilled that that's out there, and I want to hear Paul Giamatti's podcast. I think it's great.
It's
Hey,
hit and miss, but
Well, of course, just like anything.
well,
let
we're
me-
never a miss. This is
Yeah,
always a
that's right.
fucking home run. What are you talking about? Bitch. Would
Uh,
you listen
no,
to a Will Wheaton podcast? No.
Golly gee, yes.
I like Lenley's comment here. No one talks about drama fatigue or biopic fatigue, horror fatigue. Comic book adaptations are a genre. There are good and there are bad examples with the genre. And then regarding podcasting, he says so many podcasters weirdly get upset and strangely jealous when celebrities do podcasts. I so agree, Langley. I remember, I don't know what magazine it was, but when Conan O'Brien started his podcast, the byline under his picture was the king of podcasts. I've been doing a podcast a lot longer than Conan O'Brien. I got news for you. Nobody knows who the freak you are, but I'm trying not to swear as much. But it's like, no, this is good for podcasts in general.
Yeah.
Just relax, enjoy the ride. It's not going to impact your audience positively or negatively. It might actually be positively because people are like, oh, I've never tried a podcast before. I like Conan O'Brien. Well, what else is out there?
That's what they said about cocaine too.
Exactly. And then now we've got Coke Zero. But hey, you should swear. A guy recognized me in the Adam Hughes line because of my swearing. He goes, wait, you're Mitch from Trek Watch. I go, are you fucking kidding me? He goes, that's you.
Hey!
I said, how did you know? He goes, you
Dumbasses.
swear. He goes, you swear all the time. I go, no, I don't. Fuck that shit.
I can't do the podcast, John. I'm really busy.
I'm not busy at all. I'm
I know
reading a book normally.
No, you've been.
I've
trapped.
done it here. I got
Okay.
accused of falling
Guys,
asleep on the
You
show.
were all no. You were all at the convention that will not be named, and that's fine.
Yeah, I'm the one that people like because I'm quiet.
He is.
Yeah, I'm nice.
They said he's the polite one. I'm the swearing guy. Franco's the sexy one, and
That's
you're
right.
the brains of the outfit.
I
I,
did
don't
have-
think I certainly don't think I'm the brains of the
I
outfit.
did have a few people come up and talk to me about the IAP podcast, your podcast, Johnny, and this
Yeah.
one. So they do watch them.
He's the Kate Jackson of the show.
I am the Kate Jackson of the show.
Yeah, the
Hey,
one that
I'm here
everyone goes,
too.
why
Yeah,
is she still on that show?
Yeah, we're
Of
so
all
busy
people.
looking at Jacqueline Smith and all the.
I
and
know.
every
All
other-
those
every
years,
other
I was
celebrity.
like, can't the one with the short hair go off the show? No.
I loved you. You know, poor Kate Jackson. She when I worked at this one radio syndication,
Sabrina.
they were syndicating. She was doing a radio version of Chicken Soup for the Soul, where she'd tell these little stories or whatever. And it's like, oh, there's Kate Jackson. We miss you.
Oh,
You know, she remember she
Crow,
was
Mrs. King, come on.
She was Scarecrow Mrs. King, and she was Kate and Allie.
and even for no, she wasn't kidding.
Oh, that was
was
Jane Curtin
Oh,
and Susan
then-
St. James.
I got cut off, but
But-
Scarecrow, Mrs. King, come on.
And also before that, in the early 70s, great cop show, Mitch.
Rookies.
Thank you. Atta
Rookies.
boy, Mitch.
Mhm.
I knew you had that one, Mitch. Fantastic.
No, I hated those. Was that Quinn Martin?
Quinn Martin.
Was that Quinn Martin at the end where they hammered or Mark IV production? Ding ding.
Mark
and you
Forrest
see the-
pregnant with the sweaty hands.
Yeah, the chisel. I hated that. That
My-
Adam 12 emergency SWAT, which was actually good.
My
Because
best
they kill
friend Gary, we each confessed to each other because we didn't know each other until our freshman year in high school. And he's like, man, when Dragnet would end with that Mark IV, the sweaty hands, you know, and then it would go to the old Universal logo.
Quinn Martin production.
He's like, that would scare the shit out of me. I'm like, me too.
What, the
Who was
Globe?
that guy with the sweaty? No, well, it would start with the sweaty hands and doing
Yeah,
Mark IV.
yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. And it was the Universal.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
Moving
Yeah.
into the earth, and it's like we're gonna crash.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had issues back then. I preferred Ava Gabor. This is
Yeah,
been a
back
privilege
then.
presentation, darling.
I
you know.
never understood the beginning of Family Affair. Remember there was like that weird sparkly
Kaleidoscope.
thing?
Yeah, it was
What
like
is that what that was? I was like, am
Yeah.
I supposed to be on LSD? What's going
Yes.
horrible show.
Yeah.
Horrible show.
on? Yeah. Mr. French was pushing the acid on kids.
I saw
That girl died. Remember, she jumped off a building
Yeah,
or
poor
something
puppy, yeah.
from tripping out.
Man,
Fucking A.
Jody is still with us. Johnny Whitaker.
Yes,
Johnny
he
Whitaker
is.
looks like a guy
Sigmund
you
and
do
the
not
Sea Monsters.
and you do not want to sit next to him at a bar because he's a very
Why?
big, scary. He's just a very big, scary looking guy.
Johnny Whitaker?
Johnny Whitaker, at least the videos I've seen where he's talked about the old shows, he has not aged well.
He's on my list to bring to the show. My wife goes, no fucking way. She goes, you had your Shazam, you had your Land of the Lost. I go, come on, Cher. I want to bring in Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. She goes, no. Do
Sharon
a
is the
Kickstarter for that
She's
stuff.
the voice of reason.
No, she's the one checking the bills, and she's like, "How much do we
That's-
pay for this
That's
guy?"
right. She's the brains of the outfit. She's the voice
And
of
she goes,
reason.
why did we bring Johnny in for all those days? Like, I don't know.
Did she really say that? I'm sorry.
We could have got Eric Estrada and Larry Wilcox for the price of a Suntress.
I
They,
don't
they,
believe
there
that.
will be a Terrificon next year. A
For the
little
price
plug
of a
there.
suntress.
I don't believe that.
We could have got
No.
one of the Chips guys.
No, the Chips guys are coming
Oh, I
next
know.
year.
Can you
And I
find
might
Randy?
bring
Could you
his
please
dad's
find?
dad?
Oh, sorry.
Please find Randy Oakes as well.
Please.
No, what's the dad's name? Chris Pine's dad. He's coming.
Oh, right. Is he still alive?
You can, yes. No, I'm bringing a corpse in.
No, I didn't realize. I thought he had passed
He's
away.
still alive. Well,
Right.
he better,
I think it's Larry
he's got
Pine.
a contract.
Robert.
He better
Robert
show
Pine.
up.
Robert Pine. Yes. It's Robert Pine.
Pine.
Yeah.
That's right.
You're
Inspector Bob.
killing me. That's fantastic.
I like
we
that on
gotta
the
get-
Star Trek show. You're breaking exclusive
There we go.
chips.
Yeah, I know. Who's
Yeah,
that guy?
No,
No,
The
man.
fuck was that?
It
Jesus,
was Johnny
John.
Whitaker. Yeah, show him again.
Oh, Johnny Whitaker. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're waiting. We're waiting.
I'll bring the little guy in.
If you bring him to the show, you got to get like a red wig and put it on him. 'Cause
There we
he's
go.
not-
Oh
Ah!
my! He looks the same though. If you
Well,
peel
you can
back
see
the,
it.
the layers
You
like
could,
an
yeah,
onion.
You could see it between
Yeah.
the
If you-
yeah.
if you peel back.
He's
the
looking like
layers.
Mr. French.
Hey,
I
deep
watched,
down, there's skinny people in all of us. I
I
hate it.
watched
I
a
know.
weird early 60s game show that Mr. French was one of the panelists. And I can't even explain the concept.
Sebastian Cabot,
The narrator of Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
Oh, Pooh, what are you doing? And wasn't he on that? We've done this before. Wasn't he on that Twilight Zone where he played Satan?
Well,
It was
I-
Jack
you
Klugman.
couldn't tell
Was
if he
that
was
it? Or
Satan
Minnesota
or-
Fats.
or working for Hell. And yeah,
Yes.
they get the gangster.
Yeah, and, yeah.
And he keeps
And at
winning.
the end, he goes, "What made you think you were in heaven?" Because he could get everything. Remember, he couldn't lose at the gambling. He had every girl, everything that he wanted. And he's like, "What kind of? I want to go to the other place." He goes, "What? This is hell."
He was in a really weird early 60s spy show called Checkmate that of all
Yes.
people Jack Benny was the producer of, and he was one of the spy masters on that show.
Spy master.
I'm a big fan. Langley, they want to know if Chris Pine was dad was Larry Pine. How you doing, Mo? My kids.
No, Larry Fine, who was born in the lovely city of Philadelphia. You can go by his place. It says in a bar, Larry Fine was born right here on the floor.
Under the bar.
You could get on the ground and smell the afterbirth.
How you doing, Mo? I used to buy his brother, Larry Fine's brother.
He had a
Yeah.
brother?
He had a brother and a sister. The
Uh-oh.
brother ran a Stooge newsletter, which is
Oh,
that I
geez.
used to get in the mail all the time. And Chris, or not Chris, from Futurama, Fry. Billy West.
Billy West.
By the way,
Yeah.
Mitch,
Yeah.
please get Billy West to one of
No, he does shows here all the time. I know Billy West.
because I would love to talk to Billy West.
Billy
I
West, did you ever hear about him going to Bogota and getting cocaine?
No, but I believe it.
Oh, there's stories about that guy
Oh,
in
I
the
have no doubt.
80s.
But
Everybody was getting cocaine back then.
Billy West was talking about how he met Larry's sister when
Yeah.
he was on Howard Stern's show, and he's like, Larry's sister looked exactly like Larry if Larry were a woman, and it's like, oh,
Yeah, it's true.
Larry would have loved your show, Howard. Oh my God, he would have loved it. How you doing, Mo? Want to date
Do
my
you know-
sister?
Do you know who taped tons of conversations with Mo Howard
Yes,
when he was still alive?
yes.
Is it Judd Apatow?
No, Tom Bergeron.
Oh, are you
Really?
sure? Okay.
Dancing with the Stars and
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
yeah, no, they put out you can get that on YouTube, the Howard 100 special, because
Oh.
he dug out the old reel to reels. No, I forgive the comparison, everybody, but when I was in high school, like Tom Bergeron, I did the same thing, and I interviewed Emil Sitka from the Stooges. The guy would always be like, one of the side characters.
Stinky? Stinky?
No. I did interview Joe Besser. I hated Joe Besser.
Everybody hated Joe Besser.
What a
Cut
jerk!
it out.
Just
Why?
Weird and disturbing.
Was
this
he in
adult-
that outfit?
No, as far as I know, he was not in the outfit. But also, I interviewed Ed Burns, who started off as a sound man for the Curlies back in the early 30s, and then graduated to making bad B movies. And he did a lot of the shorts with Shemp. He did he directed the last batch of Curlies after Curly had the first stroke, where you could tell the difference in Curly. I don't know, Mo.
He was more of a curl, not a curly.
It was sad. It was sad. But then also he made a bunch of the Bowery Boy movies.
Who
And
did?
this guy I'm
With
talking about, Ed Burns.
Satch.
Ed Burns.
Satch, Hunts Hall,
Satch, yes, indeed.
and Gabriel Dell.
Yes, and what's his
Whitey.
face? As
Leo Gorcey, buddy.
Leo Gorcey.
Jr.
And Leo Gorcey's brother and father also in a lot of those movies.
And Whitey wasn't Whitey the guy that owned the sweet shop? No,
Oh, Louis owns
Louis Sweet
and
Shop.
that's Bill Gorsty's dad. Yeah.
You know what? Somebody just texted me. They want me to get the cast of the new Zoo review.
Yeah, no.
No, we're not doing that. Henrietta Hippo, Freddie the Frog.
Yeah, I know.
F-
The woman that played Henrietta Hippo under that giant costume, very pretty. Very, very pretty.
Come on.
And I'm
Well,
just
thanks for coming out this week.
Yeah, exactly.
wrap
Oh,
it.
wait till Sharon gets the bill for that. Hey, I flew in Henrietta Hippo. It only cost
It's,
$2,000
Let's
first class.
Get Farscape, people.
When
Get
we-
Ben
when we start
Browder.
No,
talking
I
about-
wanted to get the Magic Garden. I don't think you guys got that out in Chicago. It was a New
When we
York
start
show.
talking about Henrietta Hippo, you know it's time to end the show. That's all
That's
I'm
true.
saying.
Oh, we should have ended an hour ago, but we got nowhere to
I
go.
miss you guys. As much as I yell at you guys, I miss you guys.
Hey,
Well,
you didn't call me.
You got to
Mitch
get
this
out
time.
more.
I know.
He
well,
did it. He did it. No, he did it once.
Oh,
He did
What?
earlier. Yeah, when he zoomed in on, he goes, Mitch. I go, I'm over here.
Yeah, I'm like, no, hold on, Wayne.
My grandmother used to do that, but she was old.
Johnny Whitaker. I know, I'm going senile. I know.
Yeah.
Too much
These
Star
guys.
Trek on the brain. All right,
No.
so we'll see what episode 4 looks like on Lower Decks. We'll see what the coming very short
Trek.
When is Lower Decks on? Thursdays or Wednesdays?
Yeah, Thursdays.
Oh, I don't know.
I
I
won't
watched
be
them all at
around
once.
unless we do it next week.
He's going to Cincinnati.
Yeah, I know you are. I know.
So
Oh,
Wayne,
the two
So
of us
is
are going to
Wayne.
Cincinnati.
Who's Wayne?
Well, maybe. All right. Oh, hey, Mitch, I'm happy to do one with just us. Just
God, no.
Just the two of us.
No. I can only play with so many toys during the show. I did unspeakable things to my Iron Man tonight. I'm like,
look at that. Holy Christ.
look at that.
That's
He's
why Tony
flexible.
Stark walks funny.
That's a thigh gap, right?
Is
there.
that War Machine? Is that like Rhodey?
No, this is like they did a retro. They
Oh,
did an
that's
old
awesome.
fashioned.
God.
Yeah.
I love the original. I'm sorry. I really love the bulky.
That's like a stealth armor
That-
coloring.
No, I know it should be silver. I don't know what's
Yeah,
so great. And then,
or
then I was
gold.
playing with the Island Earth guy. That's
Ooh,
what I
I
was doing.
Silent Earth, sure.
Yeah, look at
Wow.
that lobster claw.
Yes, Langley,
hands,
that is
yeah.
the Mark. It looks like the Mark 1.
No,
Yeah,
it's
but the
not.
Mark I
It's this. See?
Yeah, it's a little sleeker.
It's
than-
the
It's
original
like the Don
appearance.
Heck.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the Larry Lieber Don Heck original
Right.
Yeah,
Iron Man.
but it should be.
it should be
either
lighter gray. Yes,
like a light
yes.
gray. Yeah.
No, it's very dark.
Nerds.
Nerds,
That's what I
there you
do
go. I
here.
was just
I'm
about to
playing
yell
with
it out.
toys.
And yet,
Franco's
and
drawing pictures.
and yet I'm the nerd because of all my Star Trek knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
I gotta get some guests for next year.
Jesus.
Mm.
All right, other retro shows. What else can you get?
I've been watching a whole bunch
Billy
of stuff
Mooney.
on Apple TV. It's pretty good.
Billy
Silo,
Mummy. Silo.
Silo
Who's in that?
Invasion.
I am hearing great things about Silo. I haven't watched the
Invasion.
second season of Foundation. I haven't seen that.
Foundation is good.
They dropped the trailer and it's coming back in November for season 3 or 4 of All Mankind. And I'm very excited for that.
It's
That is-
season 4, I would say. No.
60s,
Yeah.
70s, 80s. You're right. Yeah, this would be
Yeah. Well, they went to Mars last time, didn't they?
right.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the 90s. Yeah. So yeah, no, I'm
Jeez.
excited. No, I
What's
think
next?
Still on the second season or that too.
so good. Oh,
By the way, did you guys ever see Starlink float over your head? This is totally out there. It was by here. It's the Elon Musk thing. It was over Connecticut last night. You
Oh, I
go
understand.
outside.
What is it?
It's a bunch of satellites that are like in a string. He's making this like web around.
Oh, I didn't know. I haven't seen it.
Oh, it's fucked up. And then it sounds like a James Bond villain thing, but he's literally making like satellites, like the Tholian web around the earth
Sure.
to control communication. I'm like,
Well,
is,
yeah.
is everyone okay with this? Because I'm
He-
like, what if he turns out to be a bad guy?
Well, he turned off the
James
Ukraine
Bond.
ability
Yeah,
to use it during the war. Yes.
that's what I'm saying. So it's like, why are we letting this guy have this ability? So
I don't know.
'cause
Creepy.
we need a Lex Luthor.
That's why.
seriously,
That's why we needed Space Force, my
The,
initiative. And
you
I'm
guys
starting
should be
to-
watching the latest season of Harley Quinn. It is hilarious.
Kite Man's coming. I saw the ad for
Yeah, I
that.
saw the trailer for the Kite Man show.
Yeah,
yes.
Kite Man has his own
Oh,
show.
yeah. It's
Man,
But
arena.
Lex Luthor in this
special
this season of Harley Quinn is hilarious.
I agree.
Who's the
very,
voice
very
of Lex Luthor?
Forget
Oh, it's
it. Is it Lamar?
no, it's Giancarlo Esposito.
Oh, really? Oh,
Why do I
that's
know that
interesting.
name? I know that.
He's
name.
the guy from Breaking Bad and Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was the bad guy. Darth something. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what you
yeah,
should get for the show.
I know. I've been thinking
Giancarlo.
about
it'd
it.
be good. Yeah, Langley says he gave Ukraine access to a
Yes.
nuclear up during battle. He's a straight up moronic supervillain.
I know, right?
I was
like
watching-
a fucking weird Tony Stark. Wow.
I was watching reruns of Big Bang, and they had
There we go.
on there.
There
I
we
was
go.
watching
Photo for Artie.
exactly.
Artie's
Elon
still
Musk.
awake?
Elon Musk was a guest on a Thanksgiving episode of Big Bang from like season 9. Or whatever.
Really? Oh,
Yeah, he was talking to Wallowitz, Howard.
Howard. Yeah.
It was pretty funny. Anyway,
All right. I guess that's
There you
about
go.
it.
yeah, we
Yeah,
can stop.
maybe.
No, we did good.
What's
Me
next
too.
week? Sunday? Yeah. All right. I suppose, Johnny, I can hang out with you.
Whatever works, man.
I
mean,
got nothing, man. I'm just
all right,
sitting
we
around
can
the
do next
house.
Sunday. Sure, we can do next Sunday. I think we did good with a group of people.
I
watching.
might be able to join you Sunday.
You might.
I'm just going to be sitting in a hotel.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
true.
there you go.
Ooh, maybe you and I can be on the same actual feed because I'll be there Sunday night as well.
Yeah.
Aren't you?
great.
Are you flying back? You're not
Flying Monday,
driving.
flying
Flying
back
Monday.
Monday morning. Yeah.
Uh,
Well, have fun at Cincinnati Comic Con, boys. And I
Gonna.
hope you have
Jim Lee will be there.
good celebrity encounters. Hopefully.
Who's the big guest there?
Christina
Paul
Ricci
Williams.
canceled.
Oh no! Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah,
There goes the joke about Artie.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Going on Christina Ricci on that.
Mhm.
She canceled?
Yeah.
God
Yeah.
damn it.
That sucks.
It does.
Who's gonna autograph your copy of Black Snake Moon?
Or a flight bag from her aborted TV series. Only made it one season.
Pan Am.
Bag.
Pan Am.
Oh, I remember that.
Margot Robbie was on that show.
There you go.
Was she?
Yep,
Oh.
that was her.
Yeah, that's right.
that's her
Christina
break
Ricci
here in
style
in the States. She was on a soap opera there, but
over
that was her-
there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I-
that was an ABC show. I remember it.
Only John Suntress will know this next one. Remember this story, the TV show about the stewardess is called Flying High.
Sure.
It was in the late 70s on CBS,
CBS.
I believe.
Yeah.
And there was a blonde actress on there who went on. Oh, I can't think. She went on to. It might have been Shelley Hack. One
I
of
don't know.
Charlie's
We'd have to look
Angels.
it up.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say waitresses at first, and we were talking last night about Ann Gillian's terrible '80s show. It's
It's a living. I remember Ann Gillian, but didn't Ann Gillian start on
Ann
Bosom
Gillian.
Buddies?
no,
I thought she was
No.
on Bosom Buddies.
no.
She
Dan
was-
Aykroyd's wife was on Bosom Buddies.
Oh, that's Donna Dixon. Yeah,
Donna
yeah,
Dixon,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Ann Gillian. She's no Joey Heatherton.
and
No,
Gillian
and-
was the one with the Dutch boy haircut, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I told you guys, I saw she had
Pixie
a
haircut.
pilot that didn't go to series, but I saw them shoot the pilot, and it was called The Rainbow Girl. Fred Silverman produced it, and Cesar Romero. She was a polka singer
Who's
on
this?
a local. Ann Gillian. She was a
Oh.
polka singer on a local TV show that was a polka show, and Cesar Romero was the polka band leader. And that's when I got to meet him, and I'm like, man, you scared the shit out of me when you were
A
the show.
Mexican actor playing a Polish. Okay.
Well, like when Hector Elizondo played a Middle Eastern man on Columbo. I mean, that's, or the best, and it's so sad, but you could find it. A Mission Impossible from the 60s where Montalban is playing a Japanese guy. And just like in Galaxy Quest with, what's his face? He's literally squinting. And it's like, oh, man.
Is it like
Oh,
Mickey
man.
Rooney and Breakfast at
No,
Tiffany's bad? Not
no,
that bad.
Thankfully, as I remember, I mean, I'd have to probably rewatch the episode,
That's
but I
bad.
don't believe he had a bad Mickey Rooney accent.
Oh man.
But not as good as Joel Gray in The Adventures of Remo
Oh,
Williams.
Remo Williams. yeah.
I will
I like that
apologize
movie.
to my Korean friends who may have found it offensive.
Should.
I love Joel Gray and Remo Williams.
Yeah,
He's very
I
funny.
like Remo Williams.
Sure. And he doesn't have. He's got some sort of accent, but it's not. I don't know. I'd have to ask my Korean
And
friends.
in the TV movie, Roddy McDowall played him.
Mhm.
There was a pilot for that show, but
Yep.
it didn't go anywhere. Yeah.
I know it's kind of the sequel to the movie.
It is.
Yeah, and that guy who plays Remo, I don't even know who. I that's the
Oh,
only.
not Fred Ward. Yeah, and quick, what
No,
Star
not
Trek
Fred
actor?
Ward.
What Star Trek actress was in Remo Williams?
Come on, too easy. Mulgrew,
Captain
of course.
Janeway.
Come
That's
on,
right. That's right.
nice buttons when he's in the elevator with.
I
Yeah.
saw
And she's like, "Ah, buttons! You're making fun of my breasts."
I saw Kate Mulgrew on Broadway with Harry Potter's penis. So that was
Oh,
Oh,
fun.
you saw Equix?
Yeah,
Was she
that
was she the psychologist?
yeah.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
I
Is that
remember when
what
Anthony
they-
Hopkins was in that.
I was
Remember
gonna.
that?
I know Burton played the role on Broadway.
No, the psychologist was sorry, if I'm remembering correctly, she was
like the
a
mother.
different
or-
character. The psychologist was Harry Potter's evil stepfather,
Oh, that guy, the big dude.
yeah. the big dude.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I always wanted to see Mulgrew's one-woman show doing Katharine Hepburn through the decades.
Oh yeah,
Starting
no,
off young and then
yes.
that little lady.
Catherine
No,
Hepburn,
yeah, Joe Nash.
Connecticut's own Catherine Hepburn.
Also, wasn't that Kate Mulgrew the evil wife in Throw Mama from the Train?
Yeah, and she's the girl. She's Billy Crystal's ex-wife.
And
that's
she
right.
was Mrs.
That's
Columbo.
Mrs. Columbo
Yes.
too. That's right.
You can find plenty of Mrs. Columbo's on YouTube.
Did they explain the age difference between them?
Of course not.
Yeah.
And after like either mid-season, the first season, it changed the name from Mrs. Columbo to Kate Loves a Mystery.
Kate, I remember that. Yeah.
So they kind of pulled back from her being Columbo's wife. And also never compared to the way Columbo would describe his wife.
Oh no, no.
Like classic, 70s little Italian woman and stuff. I love him.
I'm glad that at the end of the show we brought it back to somewhat Star Trek. So
Yeah.
I was
Full
going to
circle.
say, I'm glad we brought it back to Columbo. And I'm like, yes, I love Columbo.
I like that there were 3 half-hour or 22-minute episodes of Lower Decks, so we'd be talking for 2 hours. I love that.
You
Well,
could have watched all the lower decks. through
So
this.
many of the YouTube reviews of the very short treks are literally 4 times the length of these 3 and 4 minute very short treks.
They need
I
to
don't
get
feel
a
bad.
lot of content to sell ads.
Right. It's a good chance for us to hang out and talk nerd. It's fine.
Oh,
See,
I got
Langley
nothing to do.
Langley loves it.
And we love you, Langley.
Indeed. I'm always happy that you're
This
here.
is for you.
I love that Langley's the only one that ever watches this. I love it.
I like that he's still
Oh,
on
yeah.
there.
Hey, man.
What time is it?
I'll quote the numbers later.
Oh
but-
my God, it's 10 o'clock. Jesus
All right, yeah, we're
Christ.
wrapping up. Don't
2
worry.
hours of this shit.
Wrap it up.
Thanks for watching. We'll see who joins us next Sunday night, and we'll do
Maybe.
another Trek watch. Until then, live long and prosper, everybody.
Oh, I.